Optional benefits. Plan features and taxes and fees vary. With 3+ lines of better value plan. 3+ new lines and 2 eligible ports or 3 minutes or less per line. Get up to $800 per line via virtual prepaid card. Typically takes 15 days after rebate submission. Qualifying unlocked device credit service ported 90+ days with device and eligible carrier and timely redemption required. No cash access and card expires in 6 months. Card issued by Sunrise Banks N.A. member FDIC.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Listen up. It's 2026, and this is going to be your best year yet when it comes to sex. You know why? Because you're finally going to take the advice and try the chewable tablets from Blue Chew. Blue Chew's tablets help you feel and perform at your best, and their licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredient for your prescription. Be more confident where it counts. Blue Chew's a small chew for a big difference because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. You know, just like the athletes that we love to root on for every single day of the week, these athletes have to be able to show up when it matters during the game's most exciting moments. You need to show up during life's most exciting moments. Be ready when she is. It's not just about performance. Give your partner something to brag to their friends about, because nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use the promo code KFNZ at checkout. You just cover $5 for shipping. That's promo code KFNZ. Just cover $5 for shipping. That's it. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
Prostate cancer. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed in their lifetime, but early detection can save lives. That's where KCUC comes in. They're the premier center for urology and oncology, with over 50 elite providers and more than 20 locations across the metro. KCUC makes it easy to get screened fast in the comfort of an office, not a hospital. Schedule your screening today at kcuc.com. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. kcuc.com. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
What's up? It's Draymond Green. I'm back for my 14th NBA season, and my podcast, The Draymond Green Show, is back too. This season, I'm breaking down games, reacting to the biggest NBA stories, and sitting down with teammates, rivals, and culture shapers. And trust me, I'm not holding back, on the court or on the mic. 2 new episodes every week. New segments, big conversations, real basketball talk for the real hoop heads. Listen to and follow The Draymond Green Show wherever you get your podcasts. We're back. We're better. Let's get it.
Hey, Royals fans, it's Vern, and the Hot Stove Show is back Thursday night starting at 6 o'clock right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Let's have ourselves a Monday night, shall we? Hope everybody had a great day today. First Monday in February. After hours here on 96.5 The Fan. Logan Weber alongside Jackson Ogden tonight. Full boat, full lineup. 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock this evening. No guests. Jackson, just you, me, and the listeners, man. Let's get after it. We got a lot to get to. Royals, Chiefs, KU, K-State, Mizzou. There is a ton of information to discuss on the program tonight. 913-586-7965. That is our text line number if you'd like to chime in. Give us your thoughts, things you'd like to hear discussed on the program tonight. Not very often we begin with college basketball, but massive game in Big 12 play tonight, involving the 11th ranked now Kansas Jayhawks, fresh off of a huge win that they got on Saturday against BYU. We will discuss that a little bit later on. But they are on the road in Lubbock playing Texas Tech tonight. This is a Texas Tech team that is 13th in the country. These two basketball teams have identical records. They are both 16-5. They are both 6-2 in conference play thus far. Texas Tech was in the midst of a 5-game winning streak, but their most recent game on the road against UCF ended in an 8-point loss for the Red Raiders. That was on Saturday as well. So Jayhawks coming off a win. Texas Tech is coming off of a loss, despite the fact that JT Toppin continues to be one of the best players in all of college basketball. The guy's averaging 22 and nearly 11 rebounds a game this season. It runs in the family, right? I mean, his older brother, Obi, phenomenal player in his own right. And JT is, without a doubt, the best big in the Big 12 this year. One of the best bigs, I would say, in all of college basketball. This is a huge game for both sides. Both of these teams hovering right around that top 15 mark. 11th ranked Kansas, 13th ranked Texas Tech. KU, I mean, what a win on Saturday against BYU. Booned by a massive first half, more so than anything else. The Jayhawks were able to kind of hold on in the second half of that game to come out on top 90-82. I mean, there were several things that I took away from this game on Saturday. Number one, Darren Peterson, there's a reason why he was considered the number one overall pick before this game. And he probably, despite the fact that he didn't even really play in the second half, helped his case for that. It continues to be a bizarre story to follow there in Lawrence of what's going on with him. You know, leaves the floor. They have like non-basketball personnel that are talking to him on the sideline and on the court during the game. Like, it's, the whole situation is so weird to me. But when he was out there on Saturday, he was the best player on the court. And everybody with eyes could see it. 6 of 8 from the floor. He scored 18 points in just 20 minutes of action, 3 of 5 from the three-point line. He had 3 steals, no turnovers. He did an outstanding job. And it allowed, I think, other guys to come in and play big minutes and keep themselves involved. Melvin Council didn't have a super efficient day. He was 7 of 16 from the floor. But Trey White with 12 points. Flory Badunga had a big day. And how about Bryson Tiller? You know, he looked really good in that game against K-State, but you're thinking, you know, K-State's not very good. What does that mean? Is he able to build on it? Well, the freshman was able to stack another really good performance onto it. 21 points, 8 of 13 shooting. He knocked down 3 trays in the game. He looked outstanding. And I mean, that was a huge win in a game where KU did not go deep into their bench. I mean, they played 8 guys technically, but Jaden Dawson and Elmarco Jackson played a total of 9 minutes combined. Jamari McDowell played 26 minutes off the bench. He was there in time. I mean, Jackson and Dawson combined to put up 1 shot, come down with 1 rebound, and had 1 assist in 9 minutes of basketball combined. So really, Jayhawks only played 6 guys for considerable, meaningful minutes in this basketball game. And they come out with the win. They shot 57% from the floor, a clean 50% from the three-point line, 11 of 22 from there. Struggled at the free throw line, but it didn't hurt them all that much because BYU was in the same boat, and they certainly didn't shoot as well from the floor. I walked away from this game on Saturday less impressed with A.J. Debinsa than I was going in, and somehow more impressed with Richie Saunders. Because, I mean, he's one of very few guys, I think, in college basketball this year that you watch play and think, that man has no conscience whatsoever when it comes to shooting the basketball. If it hits his hands and he thinks he's open, it is going up. He does not care if he's missed 17 shots in a row. He is putting up the next one. There's a quote my dad used to use all the time. He said, if you're on, shoot. If you're off, shoot until you're on. And that's sort of what Richie Saunders embodies for BYU this year. 33 points on 19 shots, 6 of 14 from the three-point line, and one of the few guys for this BYU team on Saturday that was reliable at the free throw line. He was 5 of 6. He also pulled down 10 rebounds in this game, finishing with 33 and 10. Played 39 minutes, the most of anybody in the game on Saturday in that one, and they needed every bit of it just to stay in it. It wasn't enough, however. I talked a lot on Friday. I was doing the drive. I was filling in for CDOT about how this BYU team is so predicated on their top 3 scoring for them. And if you can say, okay, you know, those 3 guys, they're going to go do their thing. They're incredibly talented players. But if we can make sure that nobody else hurts us we're going to be in a good spot. Well, you look at this game on Saturday, of the 82 points that BYU scored, 68 of those 82 points came from DeBansa, Richie Saunders, and their point guard, Robert Wright, the third. 17 for DeBansa on 12 shots, so he wasn't super efficient. Richie Saunders, 33 on 19 shots. That's a pretty efficient day. And then Robert Wright, 18 points, 16 field goal attempts. So shot under 50% from the floor. He knocked down 2 of his 5 threes. He only shot 50% at the free throw line. And nobody else really hurt you. I mean, Kiba Kita played 26 minutes. He scored 9 points. Kennard Davis was 1 for 6 shooting. And BYU got 3 bench points in this game. 3. In a game in which BYU had a total of 52 bench minutes across those 4 players. They scored 3 points in the game. You know, I can appreciate having a big 3 and they're the bulk of your offense, but when they're scoring 80% of your points, that's not good. If you're scoring 80 points in a game and those 3 guys are scoring 70 nearly, you're not going to win a lot with that sort of there's not enough basketballs to go around philosophy. In fairness, it's not as if the guys that outside of those 3 were incredibly efficient. I mean, their bench was a combined 1 for 7 shooting, and Kiba Kita and Kennard Davis in this game were a combined 5 for 12. It's hard to argue with those guys deserve more opportunities to score the basketball when they were incredibly inefficient with the limited opportunities they were given.
Well, you see it a lot, Logan, when a guy goes to a school that's not a basketball blue blood, the way that AJ did go to BYU. And it's obviously a new era with NIL, but you've seen this in the past where Anthony Edwards went to Georgia or Ben Simmons went to LSU. Some of these programs that aren't necessarily blue bloods and don't have the talent to surround them where they have to do everything. And the focus goes straight towards them where if you're Darren Peterson, you've got such a good supporting cast. If you were Zion at Duke, you had R.J. Barrett next to you to help. I mean, it makes a difference. You had a Cam Reddish as well there on that Duke team, and it just makes a difference where Darren Peterson had to sit out the rest of that game. If I'm a Kansas fan, honestly, I leave that feeling better that he missed essentially the whole second half, and the rest of the guys were able to get it done. You're not Darren Peterson reliant, where it does feel like, not to discredit, the other guys on BYU, but they are very much so. We ride with AJ, we die with AJ.
Yeah.
And I think you saw it on Saturday where, like, Kansas put all their focus on him. Bill Self, a Hall of Fame coach, is going to know what to do against a superstar. And it really messed with them. I mean, they were down like 20, 25 points at one point in that game. So
It's not as if I'm saying that the reason why Kansas won was because their bench was so much better than BYU's. That's not it at all. I mean, KU had 8 bench points in this game to BYU's 3, so that wasn't a huge factor. But look at like I said, 68 of your 82 points come from DeBansa, Richie Saunders, and Robert Wright. Meanwhile, KU got 16 from Flory Badunga, 21 from Bryson Tiller. He was KU's leading scorer. Didn't have that on my bingo card for Saturday. They got 15 points from Melvin Council, 12 from Trey White, and 18 from Darren Peterson. So yes, they got 82 of their 90 points coming from their starting 5, but it was all 5 of them finishing in double figures. Every KU starter put up at least 6 shots in this game and were efficient with those 6 shots. They got to the free throw line. They were able to aid I guess you could say the big 3 of this Kansas team in Darren Peterson, who is head and shoulders, followed by, I believe, Trey White is probably the 2nd or 3rd best player on this team. And if he's not the 2nd best player, then I lean towards it being Flory Badunga. But when you can get 21 and 15 from Bryson Tiller and Melvin Council, respectively, you're going to win a whole lot more than you're going to lose.
Yeah, and I do got to ask you, though, Logan, because I think it is a question that everybody is going to have about this game. BYU comes back, right? They make it 82-78. How concerning is it for you that Darren Peterson doesn't re-enter that game? That I understood taking him out when it was a 30-point lead, but when it got down to the end and Council ended up hitting a big jumper to give KU ultimately a lead that they wouldn't lose, but it was 82-78. I thought at that point, okay, Darren Peterson's got to come back in the game. Now it's the game's on the line, and he doesn't. And I know they win, and that's great, and it's a big win like you mentioned. but something's clearly not correct there. Like that, you don't see the best player on a team sitting out in a 4-point game against a Big 12 rival.
Right.
It was
You're
weird.
exactly right. And it was, I mean, it was made even more abundant, like when they're sitting there, it was a timeout when it got to 82-78. There was a timeout on the floor. Both teams go to their benches. They don't cut away to commercial. They stay there live. And there was about an 8 or a 10-second camera cut directly to Darren Peterson sitting on the bench. And you're thinking, he's got to get up and check in, right? Like, he's got to get up and go to the scorer's table to come in a situation like this. Couple minutes left in the game. You're only up by 4. This is a huge win for you to put on your resume to help you crawl up the seed lines for the NCAA tournament. Never moved. I mean, it was bizarre watching it. I really couldn't figure it out. He's not listed on the injury report for tonight's game against Texas Tech. He wasn't listed on the injury report for the BYU game either. I have no idea what to make of this.
I think they came out and said it was cramps, which if you go out of the game at the 16-minute mark in the second half and your cramps aren't done by the end of the game, like, that's kind of an odd, we've seen, back in the day, everyone made fun of LeBron for leaving that game with cramps. That was in June in San Antonio when the AC broke in the finals. Like, that's a little different than February, where, like, is he just not in good enough basketball shape? There's questions, and he's obviously a fantastic player, and he proved why on any given night he can be the best player on the floor and could go number 1 in this draft. But it's a question a lot of KU fans have, and I think it's a fair question to keep asking because we don't ever see this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not the right consolation prize if you're Kansas when you watch that game on Saturday and you somehow walk away from it even more confident that Darren Peterson's going to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft when he's going head-to-head with AJ DeBansa and he looks head and shoulders like the best player on the floor. But also, like, I have no confidence in his ability to help Kansas win basketball games because, yeah, he played a huge 20 minutes in the game, scored 18 points, but you're exactly right. They were playing so well when he was out there that when he went out, they sort of held on for dear life to win that game. And you're thinking to yourself, well, I can't imagine that KU is just going to be able to shoot the cover off the basketball for the first half of every game from here on out. And then if Darren has to sit for the second half, then KU can just hold on the way that they did. That doesn't leave you very confident if you're a KU fan. I don't know. And nobody seems to be saying much of anything about this situation. Yeah, it's cramps, it's the hamstring, it's the quad, it's the hip, it's the this and that and the other thing, and you're like, okay, so what is it? Like, is he on a minutes restriction? Is that where we're getting with this? Like, what exactly is going on? Is he just saying, it's tight, I'm going to sit? And Bill Self's like, okay. Also, who thought it was a good idea to throw Trey White that basketball at the end of the game? The game was over. They've done this. This is, listen, it's one thing if this is the first time. He's done this multiple times this season where late in the game, Jayhawks have it won. It's an outlet pass to Trey White. He's got a breakaway opportunity, but it's the end of the game. You dribble it out, wait for somebody to foul you, or you let the clock run down. He says, catch, looks back, nah, one dribble, two hand just punch, and you're like, Trey, no. Trey, come on. Got the crowd rocking, I guess, but just let the clock drain. Just let this one end, please, will you?
It reminds me of the game that Kansas was playing against Samford in the tournament a few years ago, and Timberlake was the guy who had the ball. And instead of just waiting to get fouled, he went up for the dunk, and he got blocked from behind, but he got bailed out because the refs called a foul. It was completely clean on the replay, but all the KU fans were like, Timberlake, just take the foul. What are you doing? Why are you trying to go up for a contested dunk? Yeah, I mean, I completely get your point.
Yeah. Somebody in the text line said, Puxatawny Phil saw his shadow today, which means we have 6 more weeks of Darren Peterson playing 20 minutes per game. Somebody else in the text line said, Bill Self said after the game that he had no problem with that dunk because BYU still had their starters in and was pressing. Stop clutching your pearls. Stop being an old man. Who cares if he dunks it? what else was BYU supposed to do?
I mean, I'm
in an 8-point game. Are they going to bench their starters?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind.
Have you watched a minute of basketball in your life?
I don't mind the dunk necessarily, but I mean, my thing is always if you can score. Like it's basketball.
I understand. Like one of my big in football, it's like when people are like, oh, they scored 70 points on them, they ran the score up. It's like if you don't want them to score, stop them. But in that situation, it's not as if BYU is telling, they're not just allowing you to score. They were pressed up because they were trying to generate a turnover, trying to commit a foul, what have you, trying to extend the game. That's all I'm saying. I have no problem with the dunk necessarily, or the action of the dunk.
My only problem with it is that I would have preferred he drained more clock and just ran around with it.
Yeah, that's where I was going with it.
Yes, the dunk obviously is a free two, and you're not guaranteed to hit your free throw, so I get that aspect of it. But at the same time, the clock is your biggest friend there. Just run around with the ball, get fouled, take 5 more seconds off the clock. Obviously, it didn't hurt him. It didn't end up hurting him, so no one cares.
That's exactly where I'm at. Like I have no problem.
I don't care that you run up.
Don't care that he dunked.
If I were a coach, I'd run up the score 100 points. Like I don't care if I'm up 100-0. I'm still going to score. Like it doesn't matter. It's sports. Get over it.
Yeah, my issue's not that I thought it was disrespectful to BYU. That's not where I was going with it. I was saying, like what you're saying, drain another 2, 3, 4 seconds off the clock. See if they will foul you. Maybe BYU at that point says, we're down by 6 or 8 or whatever it was, and just let the clock drain a little bit more. I don't know. 913-586-7965 is our number. Somebody says, why would you not take 2 points before they can? Coaching 101. Because it's the end of the, from my perspective, it's the end of the game. The more clock that runs out, it's not as if you're going to lose the opportunity to score points. You still may go to the free throw line. Trey White seems to be a relatively decent foul shooter. If you get fouled, you make 1 out of 2 free throws, but you take five additional seconds off the clock. That feels like a bigger deal, especially at that point in the game where KU was already up by 6 points. It's already a 2-possession game. So they're going to have to get the ball back at least 2 more times. You're going to have to miss a bevy of free throws. If it's a 2-point game or a 3-point game, go down, dunk the basketball, make it a 2-possession game. But it was already at 2 possessions. Take the clock off, take more clock out, which is BYU's only hope at that point in the game. That's all I was saying. Logan Weber alongside Jackson Ogden. More coming up. We've got some Chiefs news that we'll get to, but we have some more college basketball-related news surrounding Mizzou, K-State, their performances over the weekend, as well as some recruiting-related news, I guess you could say. Some honors being handed out for a handful of commits for both Mizzou and KU over the weekend. So we'll discuss that next here on After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Last call for football. FanDuel's giving you a daily profit boost every single day leading up to the big game. Today's 30% profit boost is on passing yards, over, under, and alternate passing yards. So maybe Drake May to throw under 222.5. Passing yards, think about Sam Darnold. Maybe he's going to throw over his total, 227.5. Or you think it's too high, you could use an alternate line of 200 or more passing yards. All you have to do is opt in each day, place an eligible bet to use that day's profit boost. So whether you're locking in early lines, riding your favorite props, or taking one last swing before the final whistle, FanDuel's giving everyone something extra to cheer for during football's final week. Play your game with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60 and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
Stay warm and worry-free with Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Get a new furnace absolutely free with the purchase of select HVAC systems. The pros at Hamilton make upgrading easy with flexible financing, expert installation, and energy-efficient options that can help lower your monthly energy bills. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee, are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or bird seed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Tonight, expect a low of 28 with mostly cloudy skies.
Weather brought to you by Duke's Mayo. Welcome to Duke's Mayo Country, where the mayo is so smooth and creamy, it makes every bite better. Duke's Mayo. Look for the yellow lid.
Did you know that you can watch all your favorite shows right on YouTube? We're live streaming Fesco and Dusty, Cody and Gold, The Drive, and After Hours all day long, so if you want to look at the beautiful Alex Gold, interact with Cody Tapp in the chat, or gaze at the ruggedly handsome Dusty Likens, just go to YouTube and watch them while you pretend to work. Go to our channel, hit subscribe, and stay up to date with 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
KU picking up a huge win on Saturday over BYU. They've got another massive road matchup today against 13th ranked Texas Tech. Meanwhile, on the other side of the state line, Mizzou with a win on Saturday themselves, 84-79 over Mississippi State in a game that probably shouldn't have gotten that close at the end to begin with. I mean, Mizzou was holding on to several decent-sized leads in this game. I mean, at the 9-minute mark of the second half, they were up by 15. It was 66-51. They had been up 16 earlier in that same second half as well, and things pretty rapidly devolved from there. Tigers were able to hold on to things late and come away with that 5-point win, and they needed it. I mean, this isn't a game that will be a huge boon for their NCAA tournament resume, but more than anything else, this Mizzou team needs to maybe avoid bad losses as much as they need to pick up big wins, because their schedule, their current resume does not impress you. I mean, they're 15-7, yes, but they got a win against Florida. They beat Kentucky on the road, which is a pretty solid W, all things considered. Home win against Arkansas, against Auburn, home win against a bad Oklahoma team that's dead last in the SEC, and they won it by 1 point in overtime. You beat Mississippi State by 5, who is now 3-6 in the league. I don't know what Mizzou's best path to an NCAA tournament berth is, because their non-conference schedule is so bad.
I was going to say, yeah. They basically killed any chance at making this tournament other than having a dominant SEC run when they scheduled the non-conference schedule that they did. Because the whole month of November, they played nobodies. Minnesota was the only team all month that they played with a pulse. And then you got to December, you lost to Notre Dame, not a good loss. You got smoked by Kansas. You got completely embarrassed by Illinois. And it's like, okay, now you don't have the good non-conference wins. You better go out there and have a very convincing SEC play if you want a shot at the tournament. And right now, Joe Lunardi has them as one of the next 4 out. So he not the first 4 out, but in the next 4. It's still kind of on that bubble, but not quite in. And like I said, I think the wins against Florida, Kentucky, and Auburn are what's keeping them afloat right now.
Yeah.
They're going to have to steal some more. Mississippi State wins aren't going to do it. They're going to have to beat an Arkansas team. They're going to have to win some tough games in the next month and a half, because as they currently sit, they're not in. They're a bubble team, but they're not in. And it's all because they scheduled the bottom of D1 all November. They didn't even put themselves against any competition, and now it's going to bite them.
Yeah, I mean, the non-conference schedule of, Howard, SEMO, VMI, they got to win against Minnesota. Which could have gone one way or the other, but Minnesota is a bad Big Ten team this year. I mean, they are really struggling, especially since they got into conference play. Prairie View, South Dakota, South Carolina State, Cleveland State, Alabama State, Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That's an awful non-conference schedule. They still have chances, right? I mean, I'm not saying that they're completely dead in the water. You've got a home matchup against 15th ranked Vanderbilt right now. You've got a home and home against Arkansas. You've got 25th ranked Tennessee that will be coming to Columbia as well. So there are chances to pick up some more marquee wins, as well as a road game against Texas A&M, which I cannot for the life of me figure out how they're not ranked yet.
Yeah.
They are the only one-loss team in the SEC. They are in first place in the conference right now. They're 17-4 overall. Why is nobody giving them even a little bit of love? You know, I'm not saying they should be a top 10 team in America by any stretch of the imagination, but, how are they sitting there at 17-4, not in the top 25? Meanwhile, you've got an Alabama team that has been in and out of the top 25. They're 4-4 in the conference and 14-7 overall. Why are they getting more respect nationally than Texas A&M is? I don't quite understand that one.
Well, because Alabama has a G leaguer. they basically have a pro on the roster. So
it's getting
NCAA just lets anybody come back now. I think LeBron still has 4 years of eligibility.
Technically, yeah.
I think Giannis still has eligibility. I think all these guys should come back.
That's where we're at now, right? I mean, Amari Bailey is one, played at UCLA, got drafted, actually played in 10 NBA games for the Charlotte Hornets, and now he has hired an agent and an attorney and is trying to sue to go back and play college basketball again.
Yep.
I imagine that is where they will draw the line.
Has to be.
We've seen this before where guys got drafted and, still played college basketball. Like Larry Bird, remember? He was drafted a year early and was technically a member of the Boston Celtics, but played out his senior year at Indiana State and then went back. We see it all the time with international guys who come and play college basketball after they've played professionally overseas. It's a matter of where do we draw the line? We've always drawn the line on if you played in an NBA game, it is over. You cannot play college basketball. That's where things should stay. We'll have to see. And then really quickly, I'm not going to get into a ton of detail on this because I've been talking repeatedly the last couple of weeks about how bad K-State is and that I think it should be the end of Jerome Tang's tenure here this year. Well, Sunday didn't help his case. 95-61, the final score.
Rough.
Iowa State was up by 29 at halftime.
That's rough.
50-21 was the score at halftime. It is the third largest beatdown for K-State at home in the history of their men's basketball program. Third worst home loss ever.
I don't care what the buyout is at this point if I'm a K-State fan or if I'm a part of K-State. I don't care what the buyout is. And if I was a donor, I would say just fire Tang, do the buyout, or I'm done donating. Like we're going on to the next thing. You know, there's a lot of people at Penn State this year with football that were like, hey, if James Franklin's not gone when we make this switch to are they going to Adidas or Nike? One of the two.
Yeah.
And basically they were like, hey, we want you guys to be a top-tier program. You guys need to move on at head coach, basically. And so that's why Penn State, after 3 losses this year, is like, all right, see you, James Franklin. If I'm a K-State donor, if I'm a part of that, just the program at all, you got to eat the buyout. At this point, it's getting worse, not better.
It's getting infinitely worse. Yeah, you got to an Elite 8 in year 1, but year 2, you took a step back. Year 3, another step back. And so far here in year 4, it appears you're headed for yet another step back. I mean, they only play 3 ranked teams the remainder of the year, so maybe things will get a little bit better as we go down the stretch right now, but you're dead last in the league by a decent amount. The only team you beat is actually ahead of you in the standings in Utah, who's 1-7. You are Utah's only win in conference, Utah is your only win in conference play. And it's seemingly not getting, they're getting blown out by better competition. And when they have chances to compete, they falter late in these games. You got to go on the road and play Houston still. You've got to go on the road and play Texas Tech. You still have a road game in Lawrence against KU to close out the year, which could be a very fitting end to Jerome Tang's tenure. If you show up in Kansas and get blown out, all right, here are your walking papers. It's time for a replacement.
And I think an even worse part of it is in a recent press conference or I don't know if it was a post-game press conference or what it was, but Tang, they're basically asking him about the season, asking him about what's going on. And he's like, well, once the NCAA finally settles down and just commits to a certain amount of rules, then we can start building something.
Yeah, blaming the NCAA is crazy.
Basically he's just like, well, once there's a clear set of rules, then we can start having a plan. Well, every other coach in the country is doing it with what's currently given to them. Why can't you? And you have better resources than a lot of these other coaches do at K-State. So, again, I don't think anybody expects them to be a blue blood, not a KU, not a Duke, not a Nova, not a North Carolina. No one's expecting K-State to be on that level. You don't have to go to the Elite 8 every year like you did in year 1, but you've been a complete embarrassment this year. And it's just, again, it's been all downhill since year 1. It really has been.
Frankly, I think the Elite 8 appearance in year 1 of his tenure might have been the biggest detriment to his career at K-State, because you set the bar so incredibly high in year 1 that when you have a down year the following season, people tighten up a little bit at that. Like, you went to the Elite 8 last year. What's wrong? What happened this year? And then in year 3, you have another step back and things tighten up even more, and it's not good.
If you took Tang's resume and just flipped it backwards, like this year was his first year and then that Elite 8 year was this year, like everyone, that would be great. But he's done the exact opposite of what a coach should do. It's only getting worse with him, not better. The best you saw out of that team and him was the first year he was there.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's only getting worse.
It's only getting worse. Somebody in the text line, 913, says, I'm proud, he said, quote, I'm proud of these guys, which is something that Tang said in the press conference yesterday, after having the 3rd largest home loss in school history, too. Each press conference gets worse. He's been getting defensive. Oh, yeah, and that's a telltale sign.
When a guy knows they're on the hot seat, they get
of
defensive.
A guy who, he knows his back's against the wall. He's starting to feel it. He knows that his days are probably numbered in Manhattan. It's what you do. You're grasping at straws at that point, trying to find any sort of life raft to jump into to save yourself and your job. Probably too little too late for Jerome Tang. 913-586-7965. So we talked about KU basketball. We talked about Mizzou basketball. We talked about K-State basketball. And somehow None of those schools had the biggest news story of the weekend here in the Kansas City metro area. That actually came courtesy of your alma mater, Jackson.
Grew up.
Yeah, the University of Missouri, Kansas City, or should I say Kansas City now. They don't like to be called UMKC any longer. With a huge swing with their new men's basketball head coaching hire. We'll discuss that next. Logan Weber alongside Jackson Ogden after hours here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player in the big game to score the first touchdown, but his teammate scores instead. That sucks. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the big game, and if you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. Keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line with BetMGM's second chance. Try a first touchdown scorer wager with confidence today. BetMGM, make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older. Missouri only. New and existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please gamble responsibly.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more.
And I completely agree. That's why I'll pay more for your car at GiveMeTheVin.com. That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And that's why I will pay more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100 at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
If the high cost of living is weighing you down, lighten your load at Hy-Vee. Save big at the pump with red-hot fuel saver deals this week. Stock up on groceries and stack up the savings when you scan your Hy-Vee Perks card at checkout. The more you spend, the more you'll save. Your next fill-up might even be free. Don't have a Perks card yet? Just download the app or go to Hy-Vee.com/perks and start saving today. Don't miss the red-hot fuel saver deals this week only at Hy-Vee.
The big game's here, and you're going to have a watch party. It may not be super for all of us Chiefs fans here in Kansas City, but still, Hy-Vee can help you make it super. Hy-Vee's your one-stop shop for all of your big game watch party needs. You can get fresh dips. They've got all the chips, the take and bake pizzas, a great selection of wings, and my favorite is the bakery. I love their football-themed cookies, and they've got great sheet cakes and cupcakes as well. Mix and match in the wine and spirits department and save 10% when you mix or match 6 or more bottles. Only at Hy-Vee.
Jeff Montgomery here from Amoeba Medical. The new year is all about turning the page and feeling your best. Men, if better sleep and fewer bathroom trips are on your list, an enlarged prostate could be the reason. I decided not to carry that problem into another year and contacted Dr. Brown at Amoeba Medical. Their non-surgical treatment was fast, simple, and came with minimal recovery time. And it's covered by insurance. Start the year more comfortable and well-rested. Schedule a visit with Dr. Brown and the team at Amoeba Medical in Kansas City. Amoeba Medical, MIVA-medical.com.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
You know, this next story is one that has both good and negative repercussions of it, you know. The negative side is that our station's very own Cody Tapp will not be the next head coach at UMKC, nor will our very own Jackson Ogden be his head assistant at UMKC. I know that both of you guys were strongly advocating to be the next head coach of the Kansas City Roos, but I think that, you know, maybe the price tag was just too high. Maybe the asking price was just more than the folks at, you know, Kansas City could bear. And so they just had to settle for somebody else that was lower down the list, maybe somebody that they looked at briefly in the initial round of interviews. He was in the pool, and they're like, you know what, I guess we'll just go with Mark Turgeon as our next head coach.
Yeah, you know, the buyout from 96.5 was too much for me and Cody. So they just couldn't quite get us. But, man, I mean, did not expect coming in today, going into the weekend, that Kansas City men's basketball would be a topic we got onto today. But Mark Turgeon is the new head basketball coach there. I would say he's probably the most proven and, got to be the most accomplished and just well-known coach they've ever hired. The current guy, and I would argue this. I graduated there in the fall of 2023, so a little while ago, not that long ago. I would argue no matter what radio station you listen to or anywhere in Kansas City right now, you're not going to find anyone more plugged in to Kansas City men's basketball than me, because I was at every press conference, every game, like all of it. Like their current coach, Marvin Menzies, like I was there for when he got there to, halfway through his tenure there, and then obviously I graduated. But I've been there. I've seen what they've built. And I think, honestly, the biggest problem that he's had, and Turgeon's going to struggle with this too, is he's gotten some nice players. He's developed them nicely. But in today's era, they leave. They transfer. You've got, just this year alone, Jamar Brown went from UMKC to UCLA. Mukeba, a very good big at UMKC, went to Arizona State. They had a really nice three-point shooter, Cameron Foss. He went to Fresno State. Like, it's hard when you're this low, mid-major school to really get anything going. Turgeon, however, can hang his hat on that, hey, I'm a proven winner. I've done this. Like, I've developed.
At the highest level.
At A&M, at Maryland. Like, I've done this. Like, there's a reason to come here now. There is, I don't know about you, Logan. I was shocked he even took the job. Because to me, it's like, for so long, this job has been career suicide for guys. There's nowhere to go from here.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the job historically, he's the 13th head coach in the history of the program. And of those 13, like Bill Ross, their first coach, Daryl Corwin, who was the second coach in the program's history, Bruce Carrier, their fourth coach, all those guys finished their careers with an above 500 record in their tenures there. Since that point, and Carrier's last year was in 1985.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Since that point, they have had exactly one head coach finish their career at UMKC with a winning record, and that was Billy Donlin.
I was going to say, was it Donlin? Yeah.
And he finished 7 games above 500.
And he got poached onto, I don't know where he's at now, but he got poached to be an assistant at Clemson, and that's when...
Yeah, he's still the associate head coach at Clemson.
He got poached to go there, and that's when Marvin Menzies ended up taking the job, who is a extremely nice guy. Like, you're not going to talk to a nicer coach in the country than Marvin Menzies. He is always so great with the press. He's very honest with, he'll answer tough questions. He is, like the way we were talking earlier, like Jerome Tang's a little testy. And again, Menzies isn't on the same scale where like he's getting the same amount of heat as Jerome Tang, but always handled it well. He was also, before he came to Kansas City, the coach at UNLV in New Mexico State. He was the one who recruited Pascal Siakam, if anybody knows who that is, any NBA fans in here. So a very nice guy, just hasn't worked out. I think the NIL and the portal era just didn't fit him right.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
There's a lot to like about Mark Turgeon and his fit at for this Roos team. Firstly, he's a local guy.
Mm-hmm.
He grew up in this area, grew up over on the Kansas side, born in Topeka. He went to Hayden High School. He played for Larry Brown at KU. He later became an assistant at KU. He was an assistant on that 88 team, that Danny and the Miracles, that won a national championship. So it's evident he knows the area, no question about it. He's got the experience coaching at the high major level, right? He was the head coach not just a head coach at the high major level. He's a head coach at the mid-major level too, right? He had success at Jacksonville State. He had a lot of success at Wichita State. Was the Missouri Valley Coach of the Year at Wichita State at one point. I believe he was. Greg Marshall took over directly after him there at Wichita State. Had success at Texas A&M. Got to a Sweet 16 or two while he was at Maryland, right? I think that for a program like Maryland, it was just not quite enough, and I think that may have been a bad decision by Maryland to let him go because they've gotten worse since he left.
I was going to say, I've been looking through the comments on Twitter and stuff just because, I knew of Mark Turgeon. I didn't know a ton about him. But a lot of the Maryland fans were like, that's a great hire. A lot of KU fans are like, that's a great hire. I haven't seen many people that are like, this isn't going to work. Like, a lot of people are like, this was a very, very good hire for UMKC. They took a big swing, like you said, Logan, and who knows if it'll pay off, but if you're going to revive a program that's been irrelevant for most of its existence, then this is the type of move you got to make. We were talking about this during the break. I think what has to come with it is a new facility. Like, they've got to upgrade what they currently have because it's a rec center. Their court is a rec. Like, I broadcasted every game there, and I also broadcasted the games at my high school. My high school gym was bigger. Like, it's they've got to find a way. They used to play at Municipal. Do they go back there? Do they build their own new arena on campus? That's a possibility. I would also like to see maybe once or twice a year they play a game at T-Mobile. Just something, throw your Kansas City's team, play in the local venue. But we'll see. I think it's a good move for them, and I'm excited to see them try and turn it around because this year's been really tough. They're 4-19.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Fesco and Dusty interviewed the AD at UMKC, Dr. Martin, this morning, and he talked about both of those teams wanting a new arena on campus for UMKC to, for the Roos to play in. He talked about maybe in the meantime, a possible transition to Municipal. That's something that they have been trying to make progress towards. It's interesting. And I think maybe the biggest thing for Mark Turgeon and his connections to the area, his Kansas City influence and upbringing, is that I think he's going to be very effective at recruiting Kansas City. I mean, I just want to point out that there is a lot of talent in this area for high school basketball, guys that go on to play in other places. And I can speak from my own personal experience. I know I have been in those I've seen those interactions where guys that are among the best basketball players in the Metro year in and year out, where UMKC is looking at them, they're not even considering it. I've seen guys that had looks from this team, from the Roos, who decided, you know what, I'm going to go to Northwest Missouri State instead. I'm going to go to Central Missouri instead. I'm going to go to Pitt State instead. I'm going to go to Missouri Southern instead. Washburn. These guys are deciding to go play at the Division II level because they think they have better chances to win and a more high-profile chance at exposure than going to Kansas City to play. I think that Mark Turgeon can do a tremendous job of changing that and maybe keeping some of these guys around because there is talent in this area. And I say that, watch Iowa play. Watch the Iowa men's basketball team play because they have several guys on their team that are from the Metro, that are from the Kansas City area. Cam Manyow is a kid who played at Staley. Tavion Banks is a Kansas City area kid. Bennett Sturts is from Liberty, Missouri. UMKC never offered him. I mean, maybe it was because they didn't want to. I don't know what it was. But, I mean, there are guys that they have looked at. Isaiah Howard's another one on this Iowa team. He's from Plattsburgh, Missouri, which is a very small town about 30 minutes from where I grew up outside the Metro. That's a handful of guys. They got a kid. Joey Mattioni is a kid from Overland Park, played at Blue Valley Northwest. He's on this Iowa team. So there is talent in Kansas City. I don't know if it's been a lack of trying to acquire guys like that or a lack of success in acquiring players of that caliber. Mark Turgeon feels like somebody who that could certainly have a huge impact on being able to change that around.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's a lot of talent here locally. Bennett Starks is a great example of that, where nobody offered him. He went to Northwest, had a great career there. Ben McCollum gets the job at Drake. He follows him there. They do great there. Now that Iowa having a pretty good season, Bennett actually just dropped 32 last night against Oregon.
Sure did.
But that's the type of hire Mizzou. That's the type of hire Kansas City hasn't made.
Yeah,
because McCollum was one of their finalists in 2022 when they ended up giving the job to Menzies. Just think about how differently things could have gone. Like, this is.
I hate to break your heart right now, Jackson. He would have never taken that job.
Yeah, I mean, I just know they talked to him.
I know Mac personally. I've had conversations with him over the years. I've been a part of conversations he's had with others over the years. There was always this prevailing thought, and we'd heard it, around the program for a while, that if he was going to leave Northwest, it would have been for a high major Division I job or any one of two mid-major coaching jobs, Missouri State or Drake.
Yeah.
And I was working in Springfield 2 years ago whenever they fired Dana Ford, and it was the conversation immediately went to Ben McCollum or Konzo Martin. And I had said over and over and over, I'm like, hire Ben McCollum.
Yeah.
You need to hire. I'm so serious right now. I'm telling you, hire Ben McCollum. And they ended up going with Konzo Martin. And, I mean, I guess, 2 years later, Konzo Martin is still at Missouri State, and Ben McCollum was able to catapult himself
and maybe
from
that's part
Drake
of their thought
to
process
Iowa.
too.
So, they kept him around longer. But in the 1 year that Ben McCollum was the coach at Drake, they finished first in the conference and made the NCAA tournament. Any guesses where Missouri State finished?
Where's that?
Dead last in the same conference. Yeah. First versus last.
Last thing I was going to say here in the text line are people asking, where's all this money going to come from for Turgeon? Because this is a big hire. Like, people don't view, a lot of people don't even know UMKC, Kansas City, is a D1 program. A lot of people learn that when they first hear of them. Like, a lot of people at the school are like, we're D1? Like, yeah, we're D1. Like, we're not D. Like, the people there that just go to the school don't even know it. Let me tell you one thing, tuition has gone up quite a bit. So that will be, if you're currently a student there, expect that to go up even higher. And someone said, what is a lot of money for a kid at UMKC? $5,000 a year. I can tell you without a specific number, it is much higher than that. It is for the best players there.
Yeah,
they were getting much more than that.
I don't think we quite realized just how much some of these guys make,
No, it was shocking when I learned how much some of them were making.
Yeah, I mean, it's easily 5-figure paydays, if not 6, even
like,
at that level.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of local endorsements.
No question about it. 913-586-7965 is our number. Well, we're going to take a long break here and gear up for the 7 o'clock hour coming your way next. We may talk a little bit more about the Mark Turgeon hire at UMKC. We've got some audio from Fesco and Dusty this morning, maybe even a little bit from Cody and Alex, because they actually visited with newly named head coach at UMKC, or Kansas City, Mark Turgeon, on their show, Cody and Gold, this afternoon. But coming up, we've got Chiefs news, we've got Royals news, and of course, it's Super Bowl week, folks. Let's get geared up and ready to go for this Seahawks-Patriots matchup in Santa Clara. So stick around. You're listening to After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Hey, Mom. It's me. Oh my gosh, you'll never believe what I just opened for Valentine's Day. A sapphire ring from Hellsberg. Just like the one I lost years ago. Remember how excited I was when you gave it to me? I cannot believe you remembered that story. I guess you were right. I really found the one.
This Valentine's Day, create a moment that means something with up to 40% off gifts at Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Hold on tight. Things are spinning into action. At Harris, Kansas City on Saturday, February 28th, it's the $50,000 Spincredible event. Take your turn at the giant prize wheel and spin your way up to $5,000 in free play. And the excitement keeps turning because at 10 p.m., one lucky winner will walk away with $50,000 in cash. Keep those entries rolling with 5 times entries on Sundays, February 15th, 22nd, and Friday, February 27th. Spin big, win big. Only at Harris's Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The big
game is here, and it's time to elevate your game with Circa Sports. Dane and Hughes here, and Circa Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. The big game requires a big betting menu, and Circa Sports has you covered. From player props to game scenarios, Circa Sports has it all, including our fan favorite Circa Squares menu. Instead of picking your big game squares randomly, choose your numbers and place your bets. Download your new bookie today and visit circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more, designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements: more energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Don't let winter catch you off guard. Keep your family cozy with a $69 heating system tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. We have pros available 7 days a week to keep your system running at peak efficiency, helping prevent costly breakdowns, lower energy bills, and keep your home warm all winter long. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
License number 2025-11121.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I opened a restaurant and needed everything. Menus, signage, catering brochures.
Everything and then some.
I went to Staples. They printed it all and even suggested takeout menus.
One money pit with a side of fries.
But now at Staples, you get up to $125 off custom print orders.
$125 off. Now you're cooking. Brand your business in a big way at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in store, online, or in the app by 4/4 to unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
DQ presents The Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Fellas, listen up. It's 2026, and this is going to be your best year yet when it comes to sex. You know why? Because you're finally going to take the advice and try chewable tablets from Blue Chew. Blue Chew's tablets help you feel and perform at your best, stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk in a gym membership. Be more confident where it counts. Blue Chew is a small chew for a big difference. You'll have flashbacks to your glory days, and dating has just got longer and better for everyone. Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredient for your individual prescription. Just like how we love to watch the athletes that we root for show up during the game's most exciting moments, you should be able to show up when it matters during life's most exciting moments. You can discover your options at BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use the promo code KFNZ at checkout. You just got to cover $5 for shipping. That's it. Go to BlueChew.com, use the promo code KFNZ, and get your first month free. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
Well, it's a last call for football. FanDuel is giving you a daily profit boost every single day leading up to the big game. Today is a 30% profit boost on passing yards, over, under, and alternate passing yards. So you can take the over on Drake May. Maybe you like the over for Sam Darnold. Or maybe you're not feeling so sure, but you want to take a 200-plus passing yards from either quarterback. You can do so and get that 30% boost today. All you have to do is opt in each day and place an eligible bet to use that day's profit boost. So whether you're locking in some early lines, you're riding your favorite props, or taking that last big swing before the final whistle of the NFL season, FanDuel is giving everyone something extra to cheer for during football's final week. So play your game with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60 and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issue non-withdrawable profit boot token. Restrictions apply, including all token expiration and max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, hello. It's me, the calculator that lives inside of TaxSlayer. And let me tell you, I love numbers. 1040s, 1099s, W-2s, all of them. With TaxSlayer, anyone can file a federal return for just $22.99. You'll get 100% accuracy and your biggest possible refund guaranteed. Now those are great numbers. Need help along the way? We've got US-based real human support. File by February 8th for just $22.99 and get the refund you deserve. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
The Chiefs off-season show, Tuesday, February 10th at 9 a.m. on 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Royals baseball season closer and closer. We're out of the month of January. We're into February. Quickly getting ourselves set for pitchers and catchers to report, and the start of spring training, and ultimately opening day in just a few months now. It's kind of insane how quickly it gets here. Couple of Royals stories to get to on the program tonight. This one broke a couple of hours ago now. The Royals have announced that their games will now be produced and distributed by Major League Baseball. They will be on Royals.tv for the 2026 season. This isn't super surprising. Cullen Maxey, who's the president of business operations, I should say, for the Royals, said something to this effect on Saturday after the club terminated its contract with Main Street Sports Group, which is the parent company of FanDuel Sports, because of, another financial distressful situation. They filed for bankruptcy again after they'd done so a couple of years ago. The Royals are not the only team that has done this. They are one of 6 Major League Baseball teams leaving Main Street Sports and joining Major League Baseball for their broadcasts. The Royals, the St. Louis Cardinals here in this area as well, in the Kansas, Missouri area, the Tampa Bay Rays, Cincinnati Reds, the Marlins, and the Brewers. So this is not just the Royals. There are now only 3 teams left on the Main Street Sports portfolio: the Braves, the Angels, and the Detroit Tigers. And that may just be because they haven't announced their decision yet of what they're going to do. Are they going to stay with Main Street and FanDuel, or are they going to go to MLB as well, or try to find somewhere else? A report, though, has said from the Sports Business Journal that the Angels and Tigers will also be joining the MLB. And the Braves have said that they are looking to launch a new era in Braves broadcasting, whatever that means exactly. But it sounds to me like Main Street Sports is in a really bad place right now. And I can't say I feel all that bad because they have absolutely bungled this thing from the word go. The plan for the Royals is expected to be $99.99 to watch the team play. It's a pretty large area that they will have available to them, covering most of the state of Missouri outside of like the St. Louis and greater St. Louis area. All of Kansas, all of Iowa, all of Nebraska, all of Oklahoma, and all of Arkansas as well. So it's a pretty large swath of area that you will be able to watch Royals baseball on MLB.tv.
I mean, I think it's better than what they had.
100%.
I'll say as someone who has YouTube TV and hasn't been able to watch them on TV for, I mean, really ever since they left Fox Sports, and that was the good old days where you could watch the Royals, Blues, and Thunder, all their games for free on, when you had cable. But now everyone's into streaming. It's become quite a mess. And, it used to be, Logan, that it was like, oh, get MLB TV. Well, MLB TV blacks out your team locally. So what are you supposed to do, right? Like, you can't even watch the one team you want to watch. That's why you paid for it. Because I used to have T-Mobile. And if you had T-Mobile, you still do, get MLB TV for free. But then you try and watch your own team, and they're saying, well, you're in the market. You can't. What's the point of that?
Yeah.
It's just been it's like, imagine if the NFL did it like that, where it's like the Chiefs was like, you have to pay $100 a year to watch the Chiefs. People would be like, what? We get every game even when the Chiefs are on Peacock, we get the game for free. So it's like, I guess it's a step in the right direction, but I still wish we could go back to the days where you didn't have to pay $100 to watch your local team play.
Yeah, the days of Fox Sports Midwest
those were good days.
Man, glorious days that we no longer get to enjoy. But this continues Major League Baseball's quest to try to get the local rights for every team in Major League Baseball by the end of 2028. That's currently what they're banking on, and selling it as a national package, which would eliminate the blackouts that we tend to get in Major League Baseball. So with these 6 teams joining officially, the Angels and Tigers expected to join. That brings you to 8. The Diamondbacks Major League Baseball already holds the rights to the Diamondbacks, Padres, Guardians, Rockies, Twins, Mariners, and Nationals, bringing them to 15 teams. So half the league at that point. Not to mention, if the Braves decided to join MLB.com or MLB.tv, that would give them a majority of the teams in the league, 16. The problem is there are some teams you're going to have a really hard time pulling away. You're going to have a really hard time the Major League Baseball is in getting the Dodgers and getting their rights to MLB TV. Maybe the biggest example, I don't know how in the world Major League Baseball is ever going to be able to get the Yankees. I'm sorry. The Yes Network is massive, right? The Boston Sports Network is massive. How are you going to be able to pull teams of that size and how much they factor into their own broadcasting platforms? I don't know how Major League Baseball is going to do that necessarily, but if you've got over half the league in your pocket, you can try to begin some sort of national something or other and at least eliminate blackout things, blackout occurrences for most of your league, which could only be seen as a tremendous benefit and could bring more baseball fans or more eyes to baseball and create more baseball fans, which is something that is in very short supply, I think, new baseball fans nowadays in the United States.
Yeah, I think you brought it up correctly with the United States, because I feel like a lot of the new baseball fans are from overseas in Japan because of Ohtani and Sasaki and all the really good players that have been coming over there. And the Dodgers have been so successful that, they get to watch them in the World Series. Like this year's Game 7 of the World Series was a massive rating. I don't think it's a massive rating if it's Royals against Brewers. I don't think it is. But because it's international pull that the MLB has now with Japan, with the Dominican Republic, even with Venezuela, or all these players like a Salvi, come over and they play. It's huge for the market. But I do agree with you that locally, it's been tough because fans want to watch their favorite team. Despite, look, Logan, I'm all for if it's a Friday afternoon and the Cubs are playing a day game, I'll flip it on, sure. But that's not my priority. My priority is to watch the Royals that night at 7:10 play at Kauffman.
Correct.
I don't want to just watch these random teams. I'm a fan of the Royals. I should be able to watch the Royals, and I shouldn't be blacked out from watching it just because I live in the city they play. Makes no sense.
No, and they're the only, really, the only professional sports league that does it.
Right.
It's so bizarre. And maybe this was the ploy all along. I don't know. But I have to hope that eventually it goes away. Major League Baseball seemingly now owning the local rights of half of their Major League Baseball teams, I'm just not sure how you're going to be able to get the other teams away, some of these bigger teams. The Dodgers, the Giants are another one with their NBC contract in the Bay Area. How you're going to be able to pull those local rights away. The Yankees with the Yes Network. Boston and the agreement that they have with the broadcasting team there in Massachusetts. It's going to be it's going to continue to be an uphill battle, but they've got a really good start with over half the league under their purview now. In other Royals news, there is now only one player for the Kansas City Royals that will still, or seemingly will, have arbitration hearings coming up later on this month as the Royals come to an agreement. They did it on Friday. It couldn't have been timed any better because I was filling in for CDOT on Friday on the drive, and we had Josh Vernier on. Of course, he's our Royals insider here on 96.5 The Fan, and I was asking him about Vinny Pasquantino and the arbitration thing and the tweet that he deleted where he was talking about the new dimensions at Kauffman Stadium. And then he sort of put in parentheses, it's very interesting what this data looks like, especially considering I'm about to go into a court hearing and hear how much I suck. He tweeted that out and then later deleted it. And it's like, arbitration does this. We've seen it over and over again where these players go into these court hearings where going up against their organization and things get ugly. The player is trying to advocate for why they deserve the amount of money that they're asking for, and then the organization goes in and says why they don't deserve it. Oh, well, you're injured too often. You don't hit enough home runs. You don't drive in enough runs. You're not very fast. Your glove is whatever it is, right? You lack control. You don't strike out enough batters. You walk too many guys, whatever it is, right? And we've seen it sever relationships, right? Just in recent years, look at Bo Bichette. It was widely publicized how contentious those arbitration hearings were with the Blue Jays. Well, what does he do in the first opportunity he gets to go elsewhere? I'm going to the Mets. See ya. I don't care that we just went to a World Series. I'm not staying in Toronto. Well, Corbin Burns, back a few years ago, Cy Young caliber pitcher, doing great things for the Milwaukee Brewers. Arbitration hits, the relationship is dead afterwards. He gets traded to the Orioles not 2 years later. Because the Brewers knew they weren't going to be able to keep him in free agency. No. That relationship was dead. So I love that the Royals were able to get a deal with Vinny Pasquantino and avoid that entirely for, let's be honest, not a terrible price. I'm 2 years, $11 million, incentives up to 16. I'm sort of surprised that the Royals went that route, considering this year it was the Royals offering $4 million and Vinny asking for $4.5 million. And so instead you pay him 2 years for roughly $5.5 million a year, incentives that could pay him as much as $8 million a year. Seems kind of strange to me.
I think they look at it as if they did go to arbitration this year, and even if the Royals won or if Vinny won, and then he came out this year and had a 35 home run season, it would be like, next year's arbitration is not going to be $5.5 million. It's going to be like $8-9 million. So,
if not more. Back-to-back 30 home run seasons, a 100 RBI season. Yeah, so in contention for a
Royals,
Silver Slugger award.
To me, we're just getting ahead of it. They were like, okay, we'll kind of find a middle ground here. Like, we'll give you a couple years and we'll give you a little more. That way we don't have to do this next year. And we'll throw in a bit of an incentive there that if you do go off and you do play phenomenal, that you will get paid. Overall, I agree with all your sentiments there. I just hate arbitration in general.
I do too,
I
man.
hate the idea of it, and I hate that you can do it 3 years to a guy, because baseball is not a sport where you come up at 18. It's not a sport like basketball or even the NFL where you come in at 21. A lot of these guys come up at 25, 26, 27. Like Whit Merrifield was like 28 almost when he came up. And so then you have him on the rookie contract, then 3 years of arbitration. And by the time they're finally hitting the market, they're in their 30s. It's just completely broken, in my opinion. And it also, the way they set it up. Do you remember a few years back, Logan, when Lamar and the Ravens got into a huge contract thing and they were, everything was public. It was, and the Ravens were mad because Lamar didn't have an agent, and they didn't want to negotiate with Lamar. They wanted to negotiate with an agent. And I think that's arbitration, where you don't want to negotiate with a player because it sets a bad relationship. It sets a bad precedent where you're like, the player's going to say, I'm worth this. And you have to tell them, we don't think you are. And then what is that going to do organizationally? So I do hate arbitration with a passion. I wish it would go away. I mean, have you seen Scoobles?
Yeah.
Where he wanted 32 and the Tigers offered 19.
Yeah, it was disrespectful is what the Tigers
You can't tell me
gave.
that's not hurting the relationship. That's killing it.
There's guys, I mean, the example that I used last week on this show was, if you've ever seen the Derek Jeter documentary on ESPN, that 10-part series, The Captain, he talks about his first arbitration hearing with the Yankees, and that he went into that court hearing with his representatives and the Yankees and theirs, and he had to listen to Steinbrenner and Cashman and the Yankees front office pick him apart, and said that it did do it did detrimental damage. It was a deterrent to the relationship for a while, but it's the New York Yankees, and they're able to throw money after a money problem and sort of smooth things over a little bit. But the relationship that he had with Steinbrenner and Cashman before arbitration versus after was incredibly different. And that's Derek friggin' Jeter and the New York Yankees. What are the other 29 baseball teams supposed to do? Nobody's got the pedigree of the damn Yankees. Unless you're the Dodgers, because you have an illegal printing press in the basement of your facility, seemingly. Just throwing out money and deferring it in an unknown specified time.
Logan, I know I brought up the Scooble case, but what kills me with a lot of this is it's like the Vinny situation that's most of these cases. It's like a $500,000 difference in a sport where we're paying guys $300, $400 million. We're going to ruin our relationships with our players over $500,000 in this sport, where $500,000 in the MLB is nothing. It's really nothing.
Yeah, and the Royals are in a very similar situation right now with the only player they have that is still under an arbitration hearing. That, of course, is Chris Bubich, who was an all-star last season. We'll talk more about that on the other side. You're listening to After Hours. Logan Weber alongside Jackson Ogden, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
QC Kinetics helps active people stay active. People like David Boardman, police officer, competitive athlete, and gym owner who trains hard almost every day.
My body's taken a lot of abuse over the years. I've had multiple knee surgeries on both of my knees. I could barely run a mile prior to going to QC Kinetics. Doctors have all told me, hey, you are going to need knee replacements.
But QC Kinetics gave David great news.
We're going to give you the opportunity to have not one, but 2 healthy knees, and we don't have to cut you open.
And after David's regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics?
Since I've gone to them, I run 20, 30 miles a week. I really wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for QC Kinetics.
From knee pain to Ironman training.
It's a no-brainer.
Now it's your turn. Call QC Kinetics to book your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? Call Jay Southland Tow Service, 816-779-4869 or southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments. They can do it all. Be in the know and call Jay's Southland Tow.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Hi, I'm Chef Franklin Becker. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Hey, it's Alex Gold, and coming up on Tuesday, February 10th, everyone from the station will be hosting the Chiefs off-season show starting at 9 a.m. Bob, Dusty, Cody, C-Dot, and myself will all be in studio and on camera for 2 hours talking about what went wrong in 2025, the Chiefs' biggest needs in free agency, and who should they be targeting in the upcoming NFL draft. The Chiefs off-season show starting at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, February 10th, right here on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
With Vinny Pasquantino now on this 2-year, $11 million deal, incentives could bump it up to as much as $16 million. The Kansas City Royals now have just one player that they are still having to go through arbitration hearings with, at least as of right now, and that is left-handed starting pitcher Kris Bubic, who is coming off of the best year of his career thus far. He had an outstanding start to the season. I mean, 2.55 ERA for the year, an 8-7 record that should have been much better than that. But of course, it was cut short due to injuries shortly after the All-Star break. And the two sides are about $1 million apart right now, at least according to reports. The club filed for $5.15 million, Kris Bubic filing at $6.15 million. Bubic just finished, his 5th year of MLB service, meaning this is his last chance, his last year, quote unquote, under contract with the Royals, regardless of how this arbitration hearing plays out, before he becomes a free agent next season. Now, this is a story that, has a little bit more intrigue than that, because there's been a lot of discussion about Kris Bubic as a trade option this offseason. Now, it seems less likely now than it did a couple of months ago, but it's still not outside of the realm of possibility. What the Royals could trade Bubic for at this point kind of remains to be seen. For a while there was a lot of conversation about Bubic to the Red Sox for Jarren Duran. Maybe the Royals would have to throw in a sweetener. But the Red Sox seemed to hold pretty firm on Cole Reagans as the asking price, so that thing was sort of dead before it even arrived. The Cardinals were another one that was being tossed around in regards to Brendan Donovan, but that never really went anywhere, and now it sounds as if Brendan Donovan is going to be a member of the Seattle Mariners, and we'll talk a little bit more about that one as we go along. The Mets have been thrown around, the Orioles, even the New York Yankees, but nothing seemingly with any real teeth that sort of picked up any kind of traction one way or the other. As of now, the hearing is expected to be scheduled for late in February here, maybe even early on in March. Both sides present the case, and then you go. And, if the player wins, they get the 6 point, in this situation, Bubic will get 6.15. And then on the flip side, if the Royals were to win, it would be 5.15 for Bubic. The last time that a Royals player got to a final arbitration hearing was back in 2023. We talked a lot about how in these arbitration hearings, it can sever relationships, it can hurt things, and guys can end up playing elsewhere. The last Royals player to enter into arbitration was back in 2023. It was Brady Singer. 2 years later, where was Brady Singer? The Cincinnati Reds. Just saying. I'm not saying I know for certain that the arbitration hearing was the reason why Brady Singer later got traded. I'm just saying that it is common knowledge that these arbitration hearings can get volatile, and that it wouldn't be surprising if that was a factor in ultimately leading to the trade for Brady Singer. It didn't help that the Royals seemingly had a ton of pitching depth all of a sudden, and still do. I don't know what to make of this. I mean, it's $1 million difference, so I don't see it. I mean, it's not going to affect the bottom line all that much one way or the other. I understand the Royals' thought process, though, of $5.15 million. Like, yeah, Chris, you had a great year. You were an all-star, but you also missed the second half of the season with the torn rotator cuff. You had Tommy John 2 years ago. You only made 3 starts in 2023. So you've lost a huge chunk of a couple of seasons. I mean, not even a couple. You only started 3 games in 2023 before the injury. You only pitched in 27 games in 2024. None of them starts after you came back from the Tommy John. And then this past year, you start 20 games and it's a rotator cuff. There's a lengthy injury history that surrounds you, Chris. $6 million. You want us to pay you more than we were willing to pay Vinny? Doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I understand why the Royals are holding a little bit more firm in that situation with Bubic than they are with Vinny.
Well, and it kind of draws back to the extension that the Royals gave Cole Reagans, and a lot of people were like, why is that all Cole Reagans got? Why would Cole Reagans accept that? Because the injury history, right? 2 Tommy John surgeries for Cole Reagans, and then plus this year, another injury on top of it. Like, these guys aren't guaranteed a contract if they wait another year. It's a pitcher, their career could end in one night. It's tough. And the Royals, like you said, you keep saying, Logan, Bubic had a great year, and I kind of keep thinking back here, well, he had a great half of a year because he didn't play a full season.
Right.
Like he got to July, and that was great. And then post-July, you didn't see him anymore. They shut him down for the rest of the season. And so, yeah, I mean, Chris Bubic was an all-star last year and legitimately had all-star stuff. But I think even the Royals are questioning, is this a bullpen guy? Can he be a starter? Can he get through a season and throw that many innings without getting hurt? I'm not sure he can. We'll see. But I think that's part of the reason why the Royals are a little lower on the offer than Chris Bubic probably wants them to be.
In other news, and we talked about this a little bit, that one of the guys that Chris Bubic's name was constantly being tied to for trade options was the St. Louis Cardinals' Brendan Donovan. That's not happening now, as the Cardinals traded Donovan to the Seattle Mariners. Brendan Donovan was sort of an interesting thought surrounding the Royals. Very different, I would say, than Jarren Duran would have been. Duran was looked at as somebody who could come in and produce runs, a run producer, not necessarily a guy that would score a tremendous amount of runs. Brendan Donovan is a little bit different from that perspective. Donovan doesn't produce a ton of runs. He scores more runs, at least he has historically throughout his career. He was an all-star last year in 2025, Gold Glover in 2022 as a utility player. He's become a little bit more of a regular outfielder, an everyday outfielder for the Cardinals the last couple of years. But a career 282 batting average. He just turned 29 in the middle of January. And, I would have enjoyed seeing him because he's a guy who hits for contact and gets on base. 4 seasons of Major League Baseball, he's got a career 361 on base percentage. A guy who gets on over a third of the time would be a huge benefit to the Kansas City Royals, depending on where you put him in the lineup. I mean, I think he would have been an outstanding fit as a leadoff hitter, Brendan Donovan. But it's not to be. He's now with the Seattle Mariners. It was a 3-way trade that also included the Tampa Bay Rays. The Cardinals got in this deal right-handed pitcher Warangelo Kiente. I'm not sure if I pronounced that name correctly. I apologize if I didn't. Ben Williamson is a third baseman for Seattle that got traded to the Rays. Cardinals also got Ty Pete from Seattle and Colton Ledbetter from the Rays. They also got 2 competitive balance round B picks out of this deal. So a handful of prospects plus a shot at a couple of future prospects as well. And it continues along this thought that the Cardinals are more or less in rebuild mode, right? They traded away now Brendan Donovan. They started out by trading Sonny Gray and Wilson Contreras to the Boston Red Sox. They traded Nolan Arenado to the Diamondbacks. Brendan Donovan has been their best player, though, over the last couple of years. Definitely had the most value. Younger than those guys, coming off an all-star appearance, I should say. And the Mariners continue to be aggressive right now. And they have got a lineup that is formidable. That Seattle does. I mean, you pair Brendan Donovan, a guy who gets on base with great regularity, career 280 hitter, 360 OBP. You put him in a lineup where he could be hitting in front of a Cal Raleigh, a Julio Rodriguez, a Josh Naylor, a Randy Arozarena, a J.P. Crawford, even behind a J.P. Crawford. It's a fascinating lineup that the Seattle Mariners have put together. 913-586-7965 is our number. One of the Royals, Royals fans' more favorite targets for them to acquire this year is off the board, plus a couple of others signing free agent deals that leave me wondering, why didn't the Royals kick the tires on these guys? They definitely could have afforded it. We'll discuss that next here on After Hours. Logan Weber here with you alongside my producer, Jackson Ogden, hanging out till 9 o'clock tonight. Stay with us here on 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Hi, I'm Brian, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, and we've partnered with Cupid to bring you the best Valentine's Day gifts, even if you forgot. We won't tell. From heart necklaces with sparkling diamonds to stylish gold hoops, every piece is made with love. Plus, there's still time to propose. We make it easy to create their dream engagement ring. We have meaningful gifts for every budget. It'll look like you've been planning this for months. Come see us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well, I'll take this one.
Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at Heartland Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Heartland Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
DQ presents The Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
The Seattle Mariners trading for Brendan Donovan, a player that many Royals fans had targeted as a want this offseason. Not to be. A couple of other guys. The Cincinnati Reds agreed to a 1-year, $15 million deal with Eugenio Suarez. That was another name that I heard floated around. Somebody in the text line actually said that. It just said his name. That's a guy I would have liked KC to get. 1 year, $15 million, a mutual option for a second year. Seems like something the Royals could have potentially afforded, floated that idea around. He hit 49 home runs. He was around free agency for a lot longer than I think many people thought. I mean, he definitely disappointed in the second half of the season after he got traded from the Diamondbacks to the Mariners. He was much more, he was sluggish in the second half after the trade deadline. It's a $16 million option with no buyout for the next year. Highly unlikely to be picked up by both parties. So I can't, that would have been an interesting fit for the Kansas City Royals. A guy that could hit home runs, especially with the new dimensions of the ballpark. He is a run producer, has been throughout his career, and isn't going to break the bank necessarily. Then the other one, and this is a guy that I threw around a couple of times, as the season was dwindling down before the end of the year announcement with Jonathan India and being the everyday second baseman. The San Francisco Giants have agreed on a 1-year, $15 million deal with Luis Arraez, formerly of the San Diego Padres. It looks like Arraez will be playing second base full-time for the San Francisco Giants, with Rafael Devers and Willie Adames and Matt Chapman playing first base, shortstop, and third base, respectively. Luis Arraez is a guy that I thought would be a perfect fit for the leadoff spot for this Kansas City Royals team. It's something that they have struggled to find a solution at for several years now. I love what they've got 2 through 5 with Bobby and Vinny and Salvi and seemingly Michael Garcia, but the leadoff spot has left a lot to be desired. Luis Arraez would have been maybe the best potential fit they could have come up with. I mean, he had a down year last year and still hit .292 with a .327 on base percentage and struck out 21 times. That's a fantastic season.
Yeah, and the weird thing around him, Logan, is a lot of people are just like, well, batting average doesn't really matter because he doesn't hit doubles or homers. He doesn't drive in runs, and all he ever does is hit singles. That's fine with me. I'll take a guy in the leadoff spot that hits singles because guess what? If he's doing that, I don't even need him to steal bases once he gets on. Bobby will hit him in. Vinny will hit him in. Garcia, Salvi, Carter Jensen. Like, I've seen so much discourse around him on social media, on talk radio, whatever it may be, that how valuable is a guy who can only hit singles, like a guy that basically only hits singles. And to me, very valuable because he doesn't strike out and he hits over 300 almost every single year. And yet we've gotten to this point with analytics and stuff where it's like, well, if your slugging isn't high enough, then that doesn't matter. Bull crap. Yes, it does. I watched the 2015 Royals win a World Series just because Escobar could get on base in the leadoff spot. He wasn't necessarily hitting homers, although he did lead off the World Series with an inside the park one, but the point stands. He wasn't a power guy. It doesn't have to be. And for the Giants, it's a really good deal. It's one that, I wasn't too high on going for Suarez as much just because he can't play second, and where do you put him? With Carter Jensen and Salvi kind of already alternating DH, I was like, where would you fit him? But Luis Arraez would have been your best second baseman by far. He would have been better than India, and he would have been better than Massey.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand. Like, I was high on him until the announcement came that they were planning on playing Jonathan India at second base every day, and you're like, okay, well, I guess that's now out of the equation, right? It's not as if you could have brought him in to play left field. He's played 48 games in left field in his entire career, and pretty much all of that came within his first 3 years of Major League Baseball. So that obviously wasn't going to be somewhere where he could easily slot in. I couldn't ignore the possibility of putting somebody like that. You're right. He doesn't hit home runs. He doesn't drive in runs. His slugging is abysmal, yada, yada, yada. But a guy who hits 300 regular, he's a 317 career batting average, a 363 career on base percentage. You put that guy in the leadoff spot, when you look at 3 perennial 100 RBI guys behind him with Bobby and Vinny and Salvi, 3 guys who could get you triple-digit ribbies behind one of, if not the best leadoff hitter in baseball. I mean, I don't see how that's a net negative for you. He's never been a Gold Glove finalist throughout his career, right? That's never been what they've expected of him. But, a career .991 fielding percentage isn't atrocious by any means. In 359 career games played at second base, 16 errors to 519 putouts, 748 assists, a .988 career fielding percentage at second. Fine by me. When you've got Vinny at first base, you've got the best left side of the infield, fielding-wise, in all of baseball, with Bobby as well as Michael Garcia. I think you bring in Luis Arias, you're in the argument for maybe the best infield in baseball. The problem is the Royals needed to figure out the outfield. That was their most pressing issue, left field. You could have brought in Lane Thomas and Isaac Collins and even maybe signed Luis Arias. Then it becomes, okay, Jonathan India is the odd man out. What do you do with a guy you just traded away a starting pitcher for a year ago? You know, I don't know. But for $15 million on a one-year deal, I think the Royals would have been fine with either one of those guys. Because he still would have, I mean, the Royals' payroll this year isn't skyrocketing by any means. You know, they're projecting around $145 million for this year. Michael Wacha's making 18. Bobby's making 14 million, 11. Estevez at 10. Jonathan India 7.4. Bubic at 6. Vinny's going to make around 5.5-ish. I mean, you're paying Lane Thomas $5 million. I would have rather seen you pay Luis Arias or Eugenio Suarez 15 instead. Just one man's opinion. Still think that this Royals team's got a good shot. I think bringing in Arias or Suarez could have made you a 92 to 95 win baseball team. As it sits right now, I think they're around an 86 or an 88 win baseball team. Not a bad spot to be in.
Which could still be good enough to win the Central.
Could be. I mean, you know, a couple of wins on, you know, maybe you exceed expectations a little bit. Maybe the starting pitching stays a little healthier than it was a year ago, and you're able to push it to 89 or 90. We'll just have to see, right? I mean, the Tigers have made some interesting moves this offseason. The Guardians in the same boat.
You know, I was doing the Royals rally thing this Saturday whenever they were interviewing the players, and Vern was interviewing Isaac Collins, who just came over from the Brewers. And one of the interesting points they made is he asked Isaac, he was like, Milwaukee's a team that, of course, the Dodgers get all the praise, but Milwaukee's been one of the most consistent teams in the MLB in their small market. How do you think you could translate that over to Kansas City, or what do you think needs to translate over to Kansas City to make them do that? And he said, honestly, the difference between winning 90 games and 82 games in a season isn't that big. It's thin margins. And you think about it last year, yeah, the Royals, if they don't go a whole month of June without being unable to hit the ball, they're playing October baseball. So it's the little things that they got to get right.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by what this Royals team could do. This Royals team this year feels like it could be the closest thing to bullpen-wise, I want to preface. Bullpen-wise, could be the closest thing that we have seen since that 2013, 14, 15 bullpen, where you look at the Mears guy that they brought over in the Isaac Collins trade, bringing Strom back over from the Phillies, along with Estevez and Ursig. You know, Strom, Ursig, Estevez as your 7th, 8th, 9th inning guys, you're going to win a hell of a lot more games than you lose. You know, opportunities for blown saves, I feel like, could be in pretty short order for this Royals team. If the starting pitching continues, it can hold out, be healthier than it was a year ago, and you're a top 5 or 6 starting pitching rotation in the American League, you have a top 3 bullpen in the American League, and your offense can score 4 runs a game, this Royals baseball team could be pretty good. Not saying they're contender good. I still think that they're a rung or two below where the Yankees or the Mariners are right now. I could even argue the Blue Jays for that matter. But they can win this division, no question in my mind. And maybe I'm being Debbie Downer, but I don't really care who wins the American League at this point because they're just going to play the Dodgers and they're going to get railroaded. And we all just have to wait for the current CBA to end so that we can enter into what is, I imagine, going to be a lengthy lockout while they figure out a salary cap or a salary floor, something to bring some competitive balance to Major League Baseball because it is a dumpster fire right now. Has been for a very, very long time, but it's maybe getting worse than it's ever been with this advent of deferred money and all this stuff that's just raising the ceiling of teams that already had incredibly high floors and leaving everybody else as bottom feeders for the most part. 913-586-7965. More coming up, including some NFL news. It is Super Bowl week, but we got some Chiefs to talk about as well, and some honors being thrown around for a couple of Mizzou basketball commits, as well as at least one current KU basketball commit. So stick around. Logan Weber, Jackson Ogden, After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Hey, Mom. It's me. Oh, my gosh. You'll never believe what I just opened for Valentine's Day. A sapphire ring from Hellsberg. Just like the one I lost years ago. Remember how excited I was when you gave it to me? I cannot believe you remembered that story. I guess you were right. I really found the one.
This Valentine's Day, create a moment that means something with up to 40% off gifts at Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Last call for football. FanDuel's giving you a daily profit boost every single day leading up to the big game. Today's 30% profit boost is on passing yards, over, under, and alternate passing yards. So maybe Drake May to throw under 222.5 passing yards. Think about Sam Darnold. Maybe he's going to throw over his total, 227.5. Or you think it's too high, you could use an alternate line of 200 or more passing yards. All you have to do is opt in each day, place an eligible bet to use that day's profit boost. So whether you're locking in early lines, riding your favorite props, or taking one last swing before the final whistle, FanDuel's giving everyone something extra to cheer for during football's final week. Play your game with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60 and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-6623. 800-499-6623. 800-499-6623.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
I'm worth a lot more.
I completely agree. You are worth more, and your car's worth more, and we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
We're going to to get into some NFL conversation in the final hour of our program tonight. In the meantime, though, there is a story surrounding McDonald's All-American selections for college basketball. 2 Mizzou commits are featured in this field, including the top prospect for the Tigers this year. He's the number 4 prospect in the country, according to ESPN, Jason Crow Jr., 6'4" point guard. He'll be playing on the West roster. On the East roster is Tony Bryant, 6'10" forward. He's the number 14 player in the class, according to ESPN. For KU, Talon Kinney, 6'3" point guard, will be on the East roster. And then potentially the Jayhawks could have a second McDonald's All-American. Tyron Stokes, he is the number 1 player in the country, according to ESPN, 6'7", guard/forward, depending on where the Jayhawks or whoever lands his commitment decides to use him. Although, as of now, all signs point towards the Jayhawks landing Stokes. So, I mean, this sort of feels a little bit more like business as usual for KU, right? They're accustomed to landing a McDonald's All-American or 2, but Mizzou has done a phenomenal job with this recruiting class. 2 5-stars, McDonald's All-Americans, along with Aiden Chronister, who is, according to ESPN, the 89th ranked player in that class of 2026. He's from Rogers, Arkansas, and actually had an offer from the Razorbacks, and Mizzou was able to nab him anyway. Tony Bryant's from Tampa, and Jason Crow from Linwood, California. So Tigers have gone coast to coast to land this class.
Have you seen how much Jason Crow's averaging this year in high school?
Yeah, he's averaging like 43 a game or something.
A game.
Yeah. Nation's leading scorer, right, for high school basketball?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, the offer sheet is also ridiculous. Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Baylor, Kentucky, Louisville, Texas, UCLA, and USC, Washington, and he landed at Mizzou. I mean, Dennis Gates is one hell of a recruiter. You know, but I've said it before, I'll say it again. Problem is there is a lot to not like about the X's and O's when he brings this incredible talent to Columbia. It hasn't always worked out. 913-586-7965. Get yourselves ready. We're going to talk National Football League next here on After Hours. Logan Weber alongside Jackson Ogden. 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew dressing up for a Halloween ball would change my life forever? Now I get to celebrate with the best fans and everything Kansas City. Oh, yeah! My journey also led me to Renner Garage Door, Casey's go-to team for garage door repair, replacement, and service since 1956. Renner features an MVP lineup from Deldon, Amar, and Liftmaster.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
There's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Football's biggest game is right around the corner, and you can get in on the action with Underdog right now in Missouri. Not an Underdog yet? Well, then you're in luck, because new customers score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you play your first $5 fantasy entry. Playing an Underdog is easy. Just head to the app, make all the entries on if a player will go higher or lower on the game, like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more. Get them right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Plus, new promos dropping daily in the app, so if you like making entries and winning money, then Underdog is your place for the big game. What are you waiting for? Download the app today and use promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you play your first $5 on fantasy. That's promo code TAPP. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/playing terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
40,000 people. That's not a crowd. It's a small city. It's also the number of people choosing pain relief without surgery. 40,000 people who said, stop, before you replace my knee or my hip. Before I put my life on hold, there has to be another way. And they found it at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in cellular level treatments that revitalize joint tissue naturally. Patients who thought surgery was the only answer are getting their lives back thanks to QC Kinetics' advanced regenerative treatments. Surgery isn't always the answer. QC Kinetics uses safe, natural treatments to activate your body's healing power with zero downtime. Get started now to ease inflammation and slow the progression of osteoarthritis. Call them today because 40,000 people can't be wrong. Before you say yes to surgery, do your research and call my friends at QC Kinetics. The consultation's free. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
This is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
After Hours here on 96.5 The Fan. Logan Weber here with you alongside my producer tonight, Jackson Ogden. We've talked baseball. We've talked college basketball. How about some NFL? A couple of Chiefs stories here for you, as well as, of course, it's Super Bowl week. A lot to discuss there at the same time. Well, only, the two bigger stories, I guess you could say, with the Kansas City Chiefs today. One, maybe not so much. One that shouldn't surprise, I guess. Nate Taylor of ESPN said earlier today and over the weekend that it is expected that the Kansas City Chiefs will move on from Isaiah Pacheco. I, for one, am not surprised to hear this news. I think that both sides should have been prepared or were prepared for this. And I have to say that I agree with this move. I know that Isaiah Pacheco has become beloved here in this area, and rightfully so. The guy plays football with a certain violence and a certain love that you can definitely see out there on the field. It's just a matter of, whether we want to admit it or not, what have you done for me lately? And for Isaiah Pacheco, since the injury, he hasn't been the same player. He, as a rookie, kind of burst onto the scene for this Chiefs team. He didn't really play a lot the first couple of weeks of the season. He ended up starting right after week 5 or week 6. Started 11 games. He finished with 830 yards. The next year, injuries a little bit. Only played in 14 games. 900 yards rushing, 7 rushing touchdowns, couple of receiving touchdowns that year as well. And then more injury issues. Started 7 games last year. This past season, 13 games. And he only amassed 462 rushing yards. This feels like it was an inevitability for both sides. I feel like the Chiefs need to bring in new ideas, new guys into this room to try to open up and unlock something in this running game that hasn't been there the last 3 or 4 seasons. And for Isaiah Pacheco, maybe a new change of scenery himself on a new team, new opportunity, that maybe he can expand his career a little bit beyond this. But yeah, I mean, I like Isaiah Pacheco. You know, I've interacted with him a few times covering the team, and I never had a bad conversation with him, but it just he hasn't been overly effective the last couple of seasons. There's serious concerns with his vision out of the backfield, right? A lot of people made a lot of hay about him, let's be honest, with relative consistency, running into his own blockers. I think back to, I can't remember which game it was exactly, but there was sort of an outside zone carry that Isaiah Pacheco took and wound up running directly into the back of Travis Kelce. And you probably could have given Travis credit for the tackle on that play. I mean, there was nobody else anywhere near Pacheco when he went down after running into Travis Kelce. Just wasn't getting the job done. I mean, as much as we may like a player, love a player, it's a business. And if you're not being productive enough for the team's, by the team's standards, we move on. And I don't imagine Isaiah Pacheco is going to be the last running back for this Chiefs team that we see go elsewhere, or depending on what Kareem Hunt's situation looks like, maybe time for, Kareem Hunt's career to be done with, because I don't imagine either one of those guys back on this team next year. And what they elect to do with the running back that they picked up late in the year from the Texans, that'll remain to be seen as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's undoubtedly, you can't say that pre-week 2 injury 2024 Isaiah Pacheco and post-week 2 injury Isaiah Pacheco are the same player. They just haven't been. He has not been as good as when he came back. I gave him the benefit of the doubt at the end of the 2024 season when he came back off of a broken leg that, hey, he's not 100%. He's not there yet. But then in 2025, he just didn't have that same juice that he had the couple of years before then. It's unfortunate. You were hoping Isaiah Pacheco could be here for years to come, but at this point, yeah, I mean, like, he's going to be fighting for a roster spot somewhere. I can't imagine there's going to be a very big market for Isaiah Pacheco just because his efficiency has gone down so much. And to be honest, he was a 7th-round pick at one point for a reason. He's not this speedster demon that's going to come out and set records. Like, he's a fine football player, but ultimately that injury, it just looks like he's maybe even lost a step.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's an NFL team out there that has maybe a young running back that they're just looking to find a running mate for in Isaiah Pacheco, somebody that can take some of the load off of a rookie or a second-year player that's still trying to find their footing. Maybe somebody out there that has, an aging running back that they're trying to pull some carries from to keep them fresher for later in the year. I'm not exactly certain, but Isaiah Pacheco is not a 3-down back in this league. It was sort of a detriment, I think, to his own career for the Chiefs to sort of use him as such. He's not a guy that catches the ball out of the backfield well. A ton of dropped passes. He doesn't really make guys miss with his first cut. He's got decent speed, but not breakaway speed. Just feels like a guy that you give the football to in the A-gap 8 to 10 plays a game. Unfortunately, the Chiefs had 2 of those guys with Kareem Hunt. And so it just, the running back room last year made no sense whatsoever. I think it's best for both sides that they move on elsewhere. In other Chiefs-related news, a quarterback signing for Kansas City. No, this is not one that will generate any level of excitement. It probably shouldn't. The Chiefs signed Jake Haener to the team. No real details on the contract. He was on the Saints practice squad at the end of last year. His contract expired. He's now coming to Kansas City. I don't see this as a player that will come in and compete for the backup quarterback job in Kansas. They're going to go after another quarterback. I have no doubt in my mind that they will go after somebody else. This feels more like bringing in somebody that can compete with Chris Oladokun for the practice squad quarterback, the scout team guy, more or less the third quarterback that the team carries, not on the active roster, but via the practice squad, where he may be forced into a backup quarterback job in week one, maybe the first couple of weeks of the season, depending on how, of course, Patrick Mahomes' rehab plays out. But this is certainly not who the Chiefs anticipate being their backup quarterback for Mahomes next year. Don't anticipate Jake Haener starting if Patrick Mahomes is forced to miss any time. That's what I'm saying.
If we have to bring up Jake Haener's name during the regular season, something went horribly wrong. Like, no disrespect to Jake Haener, but it's one of those, it was a coach where he's like, why don't you practice with your backup when he was coaching Peyton Manning? And he's like, we don't practice being screwed. Like, if we don't have Peyton Manning, we're screwed. We don't practice that. Now, I know you can't go about that right now because Mahomes might not be there to start the year, but yeah, I mean, look, it's probably a guy, like you said, that's going to get a camp invite. He'll come to training camp, fight to be the practice squad third-string guy. If not here, he'll put out some tape that another team could look at him and see potentially do they want him. But not necessarily league-shattering news, but it's interesting that they brought him in after getting a good look at Oladokin in some not meaningful, but some real NFL games, meaningful for the other teams. And then also, who knows what they do with Gardner Minshew, but it comes out a month after the fact that he actually didn't tear his ACL and that he's actually fine. So I don't necessarily know what happens there either. It'll be an interesting offseason to see how the Chiefs attack the backup QB position.
Yeah, he's a former fourth-round pick, started his career at the University of Washington. He later transferred to Fresno State. Solid player at Fresno State. In fact, he was teammates with current Chiefs wide receiver Nico Remigio, as well as a tight end on the practice squad in Trey Watson for the Chiefs. And he ended up kind of jumping onto people's radars in the 2023 draft when he was the Senior Bowl MVP, drafted in the fourth round by the Saints, the 127th overall pick. Didn't play his rookie year. Certainly didn't help that he missed the first 6 weeks of the regular season his rookie year because of a positive test for a banned substance. He played in 8 games the following year in 2024. He even started a game. He played against the Chiefs on that Monday night game last year when the Saints came to Arrowhead. I was at that game, actually.
He came in later in the game, didn't he?
Correct, yeah, after Derek Carr got hurt.
He didn't start it.
No, he didn't start that game, but he did end up starting a game, I think, after that Monday night game with Derek Carr going down with the injury, and then they went to Rattler, and it just things got pretty weird there. So I'm not expecting much. Don't put a lot into this one by any stretch of the imagination. 913-586-7965 is our number. I got a 913 here, says, that's why I don't want Breece Hall. He's Pacheco version 2.0. Injury history, poor vision, and like a 500-yard guy at most if healthy. I'd much rather the Chiefs get Etienne or Algiers to replenish their running back room and form their own version of Sonic and Knuckles like in Detroit.
I don't think it's fair to say Breece Hall and Isaiah Pacheco are in the same tier.
I don't think so either.
I get the injury part of your argument.
Completely agree with that.
The vision part, where he's a 500 guy at most, no.
Just had 1,000 yards rushing last year.
That is not his ceiling.
Maybe the biggest difference between Isaiah Pacheco and Breece Hall is an all-purpose guy. He can catch the ball out of the backfield effectively, I would argue. I mean, 1,600 career receiving yards across 4 seasons and 9 receiving touchdowns. That's nowhere near. I should say Isaiah Pacheco is nowhere near those numbers. And you want to talk about injury history. Really, the injury history for Breece Hall dates back to his rookie year. Started 2 games. He only played in 7, but he played in all 17 games in 2023. He played in 16 of 17 games, started 16 of 17 games last year and in 2024 and this past season. So he's played in 56 of 17, 34, 50 was 68, 56 of 68 eligible games, and 10 of those 12 missed games came in his rookie season. So he has been relatively healthy. He has had over 200 rushing attempts in each of the last 2 years, and he's been pretty effective despite the fact that it's been a lackluster offensive line there with the New York Jets. I think he could be much more effective in Kansas City. Now it sounds as if I'm advocating for the Chiefs to bring in Breece Hall. That's not who I would want to see. I would rather that you see Kenneth Walker on this team. I just, unfortunately, and this person in the text line agrees with that sentiment, if they can't get Kenneth Walker, I love K9 on this team, but I don't think he's getting out of Seattle. I completely agree with you. He has proven himself to be a 3-down back. He has skyrocketed his asking price for this offseason with the way he's played in these playoffs. Since Charbonnet went down, I don't think the Chiefs are going to be able to afford Kenneth Walker. And frankly, if I don't think they can afford Kenneth Walker, I'm not sure how they can afford Breece Hall either, because I think Breece Hall is an outstanding running back, can be in this league. I would rather have him than Etienne or Algiers, but that's just me. I don't think that they can afford to get both Etienne and Tyler Algiers. I think that they will likely sign one running back via free agency, and then more, I think I lean towards them drafting one as well. Sign one, draft one. That's how you replenish the running back room alongside Brashard Smith. See where that takes you. 913-586-7965 is our number. How about the Las Vegas Raiders? They have thrown themselves into the news here a little bit. We'll talk about that because they have announced they have officially signed a deal with a head coach. Logan Weber alongside Jackson Ogden, 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
The big game is here, and it's time to elevate your game with Circa Sports. Danon Hughes here, and Circa Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. The big game requires a big betting menu, and Circa Sports has you covered. From player props to game scenarios, Circa Sports has it all, including our fan favorite Circa Squares menu. Instead of picking your big game squares randomly, choose your numbers and place your bets. Download your new bookie today and visit circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? Call Jay Southland Tow Service, 816-779-4869 or southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments. They can do it all. Be in the know and call Jay's Southland Tow.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Heartland Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Heartland Men's Health will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
I hope you're sitting down. The ACA Marketplace has announced significant increases on monthly premiums, with deductibles over $10,000. You can enroll with Matt B. and KC at BBS Insurance's Freedom of Choice plan now. You don't have to wait. Their plan lets you use any doctor, has 0 outpatient deductibles, and is 30 to 60% lower costs than most Obamacare plans. Also, there's no income disclosure required, so no potential tax penalties. If you're a small business owner or pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Matt B. and KC for an instant quote over the phone. 816-205-4664. That's 816-205-4664. Or go to bbsinsurance.net. That's bbsinsurance.net. They will customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Did you know that you can watch all your favorite shows right on YouTube? We're live streaming Fesco and Dusty, Cody and Gold, The Drive, and After Hours all day long. So if you want to look at the beautiful Alex Gold, interact with Cody Tapp in the chat, or gaze at the ruggedly handsome Dusty Likens, just go to YouTube and watch them while you pretend to work. Go to our channel, hit subscribe, and stay up to date with 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
Every head coaching opening in the National Football League seemingly filled at this point. It obviously isn't. I guess you can't say that it's completely official, but the reports are flying around everywhere that the Las Vegas Raiders are expected to hire Clint Kubiak as their next head coach after the Super Bowl on Sunday. Kubiak is currently the offensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks, so he's a little busy right now. It cannot be legally finalized until after the Super Bowl. So the Raiders and Cardinals both met with Kubiak on Saturday, a couple days ago, and Kubiak intends to work out a deal with Vegas. It'll be approximately a 5-year deal is what it sounds like. He would become the 5th full-time head coach that the Raiders have had since 2021. That's 5 coaches in 5 years.
That's insane. I can't believe I had not seen that stat yet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not great, man. I mean, the list of Raiders coaches in recent years is outrageous. When you think about, I mean, this whole thing, the whole ball got rolling on this thing, of course, in 2021 with Rich Bisaccia, who was there for a year.
He was the interim.
Correct.
He came in after Gruden got canned.
And then they brought in Josh McDaniels, fired him. Antonio Pierce finished out the year. They hired him as the full-time head coach. They fired him. They brought in Pete Carroll. And Pete Carroll promptly went 3-14, and they fired him. Gruden, Bisaccia, McDaniels, Pierce, Pete Carroll.
How many? If you had to guess, how many different head coaches do you think they've had since 2000?
Since 2000?
I just looked it up. How many? If we count counting Kubiak, he'll be the next one.
So are we? How many times can we count John Gruden?
He counts once.
Okay,
so
we're only counting him once.
Yeah, both stints. He's just but different coaches.
Right. So I get Gruden, Bill Callahan, Lane Kiffin. I think was Norv Turner the head coach for the Raiders at one point, like before he went to San Diego.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you're right.
Okay.
2004 to 2005.
Oh man,
some of these guys I've never heard of.
Tentatively say like 12.
Close. This will be 15.
Oh my, 15? Yeah, it's 2026.
Hugh Jackson was one. Dennis Allen, Tony Soprano, Jack Del Rio, Bill Callahan. Way back in the day. Yeah, it's been a mess.
Tony Sperano. He was the head.
Sperano. That's what I'm saying.
Tony Soprano. I was like, whoa,
not Soprano. Sperano. My bad.
Yeah, Tony Sperano. He was the coach for 12 games.
I think he also was the Dolphins coach for a bit too.
Oh, dude, that's bad.
Yeah, so not a lot of stability there in Vegas/Oakland this 21st century.
Woof.
Just win, baby.
Just win.
It's become just lose.
I mean, we'll see what Clint Kubiak can do with it. You know, he's walking into it's never a good situation with the Raiders. It hasn't been for a very long time. Not since, I don't know, Rich Gannon was their quarterback. But they had the number 1 overall pick. They're going to have their presumptive franchise guy, right, in Fernando Mendoza. You've got a young running back in Ashton Genty, who you're hoping can continue to develop, right? He had a down year. Let's not argue.
You got to give him a line.
But
you got to give him an offensive line.
No offensive line. Your passing game didn't strike fear into anyone because Geno Smith was rough. So, you know, you bring in a quarterback, somebody that can keep defenses a little bit more honest. It could open things up for Ashton Genty. You figure out some things to do along the offensive line. I like what you've got at left tackle with Colton Miller. What do you do everywhere? You know, what are you doing everywhere else? That could be a huge factor in what they do. Brock Bowers, you try to keep him healthy. You bring in another weapon or two in the wide receiver room. I like Trey Tucker, but he's not a wide receiver 1 in this league. You need more than that. And see where it takes you after that. But this offense, this Raiders team does have pieces, and you know, defensively they've let a lot go in the last couple of years, but you still have Max Crosby, at least for the time being. If you can show him that you're trying to take steps in the right direction, otherwise he may continue to be like, hey, maybe you guys should just trade me.
I was going to say, he was very frustrated at the end of this past year because the final 2 weeks of the season, they sat him down. They were like, we're out. We're not going to risk you getting hurt. And he was angry. He was like, I want to play. He's like, this is, you know, probably words we can't say on the air. He was very, very angry, stormed out of the facility. Will a new head coach be able to please him enough? We will see. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, you've got a bit of a nucleus there, but you've got to convince them, like Max Crosby, that we're actually going to do something here and not just waste your career.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the 10th and final job head coaching opening in the National Football League was filled over the weekend as well. The Arizona Cardinals hired Mike LaFleur as their next head coach. He was the offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams under Sean McVay. Obviously, I think everybody recognizes that last name at the same time. You know, Mike LaFleur, his brother, not to the surprise of anyone, is current Packers head coach. Why am I blanking on a first name? Matt LaFleur. Thank you. Yep. Matt and Mike. Very creative.
You know, the NFL
parents.
lost the brother head coach thing, or I guess they didn't lose it, but John Harbaugh and Jim Harbaugh, they lost it for a second when Harbaugh got fired. But now we got 2. The Harbaughs are still in there, and now we got the LaFleurs.
Yeah, literally 4 of the... So an eighth of the league is made up by brothers as head coaches at this point. So I don't envy Mike LaFleur in this situation. He took the opportunity when it presented itself to become a head coach. I can't fault him for that. This is a despicable situation that he walks into in Arizona. This is a bad football team that has no quarterback. You're not going to land a quarterback in the draft this year because, I mean, there isn't one. You know, unless you try to trade back in the first round or trade up from a second-round pick into a first-round pick and maybe take a flyer on a Ty Simpson. I don't know. And see where that, see where that takes you. But it's obviously, it's not going to be Kyler Murray. That's been well documented at this point, where I would be shocked if the Cardinals didn't do everything within their power to trade him to somebody else, because it is an absolute disaster. But, man, Sean McVay just continues to pump out head coaches from his system. Starting with Matt LaFleur, who was his offensive coordinator in 2017 and then got the Packers job. Then you've got Kevin O'Connell, who was his offensive coordinator for 2 seasons before taking the Vikings head coaching job. Liam Cohen, who was his offensive coordinator, and now he's the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And now you've got Mike LaFleur. It's not going to stop because Nate Scheelhaase, who was his passing game coordinator and is now the presumptive favorite to become the Rams OC now, is likely to get a head coaching job because he was in strong consideration for several head coaching gigs this offseason. I just don't know what they're going to do. The Cardinals are in such a bad place.
You bring up both. Would you rather, if you were going to be the new head coach, would you rather be in the Raiders or Cardinals position?
Raiders.
Think so?
Without question.
Even with the division? I guess both divisions are really tough.
It's like the NFC West is just as bad,
hard.
if not worse.
I will say, in the NFC West, you're not dealing with the quarterback play you're dealing with in the AFC West. Because in the AFC West, you have to go up against Mahomes, Herbert, and Bo Nix. Like, that is brutal every year. In the NFC West, Stafford's going to be 38. Darnold is good, but I don't think anybody's ready to anoint him as the elite top-tier guy. And then, you got who knows what the Cardinals obviously end up doing. It'll be in the Niners with Purdy. So, I don't know. It's tough in both spots. I think the reason I would probably lean Raiders myself is because you get Mendoza at number 1. You do get a quarterback, whereas are the Cardinals going to sign Malik Willis? Are they going to, what are they going to do?
I have absolutely no idea what they're going to do.
Should they just swap Tua for Kyler? Should we just...
And I think that, while the Cardinals have better pieces on their defense, right? Josh Sweat and Dalvin Thompson, Sean Murphy-Bunting, Budda Baker. They've got solid pieces on their defense. They're older pieces for the most part, And, I mean, the Cardinals have got some solid players, though. I mean, they've got a guy like Paris Johnson, who I think can become one of the better right tackles in this league, along with, Marvin Harrison Jr., maybe a new head coach, an offensive-minded guy like LaFleur can unlock something in him. You bring in a different quarterback to try to figure some things out. Trey McBride, who set the league on fire this year. He's the best tight end in the league, I think many would say. Doesn't hurt that he's been, arguably the healthiest guy. I mean, Tucker Kraft was having a great year with the Packers before he got hurt. Kittle was having a great year before he got hurt in the playoffs. So they've got some pieces, but they have a lot more holes, I think, to fill than the Raiders do, and not nearly as many opportunities directly in front of them in terms of draft capital to do that, because the Raiders had the worst record in the league last year. I just think that the Raiders' job is a slightly better job right now. It ain't by much, though. 913-586-7965. Let's talk about the Super Bowl, and I guess maybe a little bit about the Pro Bowl. Let me ask you an existential question, folks. Let me know in the text line. Does anybody give a damn about the Pro Bowl anymore? Does anybody care? Like, is anybody, basing their schedule this week upon when the Pro Bowl festivities take place on television? Because I sure as hell am not, and I sure as hell do not care about the Pro Bowl anymore. It's an absolute dumpster fire. We may talk more about that next here on After Hours. Logan Weber, Jackson Ogden, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Super Bowl 60 deserves a sportsbook built for the moment, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60, puts you right in the center of the biggest game of the year. And when anything can happen during the Super Bowl, DraftKings has your back with early exit. If a player goes down in the first half, you still get paid out in cash immediately once your bet settles. No bonus bets, no waiting. New to DraftKings, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code 965. That's code 965 to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.com/audio. Limited time offer.
Hi, I'm Brian, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, and we've partnered with Cupid to bring you the best Valentine's Day gifts, even if you forgot. We won't tell. From heart necklaces with sparkling diamonds to stylish gold hoops, every piece is made with love. Plus, there's still time to propose. We make it easy to create their dream engagement ring. We have meaningful gifts for every budget. It'll look like you've been planning this for months. Come see us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone.
where a friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets a Duralast battery.
Have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Super Bowl week is here. And those of us in Kansas City could not seemingly be less thrilled, right? We've become inherently spoiled by how good the Chiefs have been since Patrick Mahomes took over as the starter. Not in the Super Bowl, you're thinking, okay, so they lost in the AFC Championship game. No, didn't make the playoffs at all. Yet here we are, and I mean, it's an intriguing matchup, I have to say. Seahawks, Patriots, two teams that both finished the regular season 14-3. Seahawks were the 1 seed in the NFC. The Patriots were the 2, but they lucked out, I would say, with poor weather and Bo Nix not playing in that game against Denver. Seahawks 4.5-point favorites in this game. I kind of hammer that right now. You know,
I grabbed it immediately after the Seahawks Rams at 3.5, and when I woke up the next morning, it was 4.5. So I was like,
yeah, 3.5 is an absolute pull.
I saw 3.5, and I was like, I can't imagine it getting this low again. Like, it's only going to go up from here. So yeah, I was on that, and now I can just focus all my bets on what Gatorade color will it be? Will the national anthem go over a certain amount of time? You know, now I get to go to the fun ones.
Oh yeah, the real obscure sort of picks for your bets. I don't know. The Seahawks have the better defense. Not saying that the Patriots have a bad defense. I just think the Seahawks are an elite defense. You know, there are 3 or 4 defenses in the National Football League that I think stand above the rest, and it's the Texans, the Broncos, and in my view, the Seattle Seahawks. So there is an advantage there. The Seahawks have the advantage of a more experienced quarterback in Sam Darnold, both in terms of his years in the league, and he's played in a few more playoff games, at least one more, and bigger games than Drake May has. He's also performed much better in these playoffs than Drake May has. Let's face it, I know that they played some really good defenses, but the Patriots' offense has been underwhelming.
It's been brutal
in this playoffs. The last 2 games, they've scored 1 touchdown.
Yeah, and again, the weather in the AFC title game played a huge factor in that. And, you know, I think under normal conditions, that game's not 10-7. That just became a snow globe in the second half.
It did, but in the first half, he was bad.
Right, they were not, and Denver's defense is very good. They didn't do well against the Chargers. The Texans game, man, C.J. Stroud just handed it to them. I mean, they were awful on offense. Drake May had like 3 or 4 fumbles, plus an interception, and the Texans just beat themselves. C.J. Stroud really beat themselves. So, yeah, I think the big question going into this game is, can Drake May perform against an elite defense? Because so far this postseason, the answer's been no, yet they've won. And I don't think that they're going to win this game if Drake May does not perform. If he goes out there and has another mediocre game, I don't think so. I think Seattle rolls. I think Drake May has to play MVP Drake May football if the Patriots want to beat the Seahawks team.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that the Seahawks have the advantage on defense. I think that the Seahawks have the advantage along their offensive line collectively. I think that the Seahawks have the advantage in terms of weapons. As good as Stephon Diggs has been for the Patriots this year, Jackson Smith-Njigba has lit the world on fire with his play, along with Kenneth Walker doing great things. The running back room for the Patriots, I think, is stronger collectively when you add Travion Henderson, as well as, with Ramondre Stevenson. I'm with you. I think it's going to ultimately come down to which quarterback shows up. If it's regular season Drake May, the Patriots have the advantage when it comes to the signal caller. If it's postseason Drake May, the Seahawks have an incredible advantage in this situation.
I also think it's interesting. I've gone back and forth on this one. I think it's like a dead tie at coaching. I think between Vrabel and McDonald, it is just like two of the top 5 guys in the league right now. And it's just crazy to think that not even 3 years ago, the Titans were firing Mike Vrabel. Last year, Mike Vrabel didn't even have a job.
Yeah.
No one hired him in that cycle. And then this year 1 in New England gets him to the Super Bowl. You can say whatever you want about the schedule and, whatever breaks that you might think they're getting, but he turned a team that was picking 4th in the draft into the AFC Championship winner in 1 year. I'm excited for it. I think more than anything, I've been telling my friends, like, this is going to be such a well-coached game, a disciplined game. You're not going to see a lot of penalties. You're not going to see a lot of foolish mistakes in that aspect. And that really would have been the case for any matchup because Sean Payton and Sean McVay are also very, very sharp. So I'm really looking forward to it. A stress-free Super Bowl to watch and just kind of kick back. As much as I will miss the Chiefs in this spot, it's going to be nice to not have to have everybody at the Super Bowl party and then there's just me in the corner screen, like, going through it. I'm just pacing. Like,
we did that a couple of years ago when we were living in Springfield. We had a Super Bowl party at our apartment, and some of our friends came over, and I'm, screaming at the TV. I'm throwing my hat across the room. I changed my clothes at halftime, like top to bottom. From my socks to my hat, I completely changed my outfit, at my clothing at halftime of that second 49ers Super Bowl. And, of course, the Chiefs ended up winning, and all was right with the world. But, yeah, you're right. There is something endearing about the fact that you can just sit and enjoy watching a football game without your heart rate spiking constantly, one way or the other. That'll be fun. There was some of that last year. I'll be honest,
Well, once they were,
I got to enjoy the halftime show and then just watch the second half because I had already died at that point. I think most Chiefs fans had collectively just been like, okay.
I was stupid enough to think they could come back at halftime just because it was Mahomes. And I was like, we'll give him a half. I'll tell you what, there was a tradition that me and my friends started. Not really a very long tradition, but when we were at halftime against the Eagles and we were down, we went outside and we smoked a cigarette. And then the next year against the Niners, we were down at half. We're like, okay, we're going to go out. We're going to smoke a cigarette at half. And so we're like, we're 2 for 2 on this. If they're down at half today, we're doing it. And we're going out. We're outside in the cold smoking this thing. Like, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter this time.
This feels a little bit more insurmountable than the other two.
I don't know about this one.
Yeah, this wasn't a 10-point halftime deficit. This was nearly a 30-point halftime deficit.
I was like, I don't know about this one.
Yeah.
Probably not this year. The lucky cigarette ran out.
And listen, I'm sorry. I don't, most of the time, in past years, there haven't been a lot of years where I was just like actively rooting for one team to win a Super Bowl, except for when it involved the Patriots. And then I was always actively rooting against them. And I'm actively rooting against them in this game as well. Okay? You can't just be the team to beat in the National Football League for almost 2 decades, fall into obscurity for 5 years, and then come back and start winning Super Bowls again. That just shouldn't be allowed. Okay, we had to wait 50 years, 5 decades here in Kansas City to see a Super Bowl winner.
I mean, they fell off and rebuilt before the Dolphins could. Like, they could even build anything. Or the fact that they made a Super Bowl before Josh Allen did, I would be throwing up if I was a Bills fan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I would be puking out of disgust if I were a Bills fan. The fact that they went through an entire rebuild, first of all, they had the dynasty, they had Brady, they kicked your butt for that long, then they fell down, and they got back up to the Super Bowl before you ever could. Oh, I'd be throwing things at the wall.
Oh, it really only gets worse for Buffalo Bills fans when you consider both of these teams, right? So you look at the Patriots, an intra-division rival. They've fallen, they were the king of the crop. They absolutely worked you every single year until Brady leaves. They fall. Us all of a sudden you take over the reins. You are the team to beat in the division. And within 5 years, they are right back on top of the division. They get to a Super Bowl before you do. And you look at the other side and the Seattle Seahawks, and Sam Darnold is the first first quarterback in Josh Allen's draft class to get to a Super Bowl. Think about that. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, all in that draft class, as well as Lamar Jackson. And Sam Darnold's the one that gets to a Super Bowl. We all assumed it would be Josh Allen someday. Nope.
Or Lamar.
Or Lamar.
You know, they were both on the doorstep, and they couldn't get it done. Sam Darnold finally gets on the doorstep, plays the game of his career.
Not a great look.
Unreal.
Is what it is. Oh, it's 100% an indictment on Buffalo because the AFC was not very strong this year at all. Oh, not even a little bit, dude. I mean, I'm sorry, but when you get into the playoffs and you're the Buffalo Bills and you don't see 15 in red, you don't see number 8 in black and purple, you don't have to deal with Joey B over there in Cincinnati. None of those guys make the playoffs. What are we doing? Womp. 913-586-7965. Hang around just a little bit longer. We'll come back and wrap up this Monday night edition of After Hours coming your way next. Logan Weber, Jackson Ogden, 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Football's biggest game is right around the corner, and you can get in on all of the action with Underdog right now in Missouri. If you're not on Underdog yet, then you're in luck because new customers score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. And I love playing on Underdog because it's easy. Just head to the app, make entries on if a player will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more. And if you get them right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. Plus, there's new promos dropping every day in the app. So if you like making entries and winning money, then Underdog is the place to be for the big game. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today. Use promo code BOB to score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you play your first $5 on fantasy. That's promo code BOB. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 and over in present Missouri. Terms apply. See assets at UnderdogFantasy.com/web/. Play and get terms. _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more, designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements. More energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Midwest, winter 2026, Airman. Say, how's that utility bill? Even your level payment plan seems like it's tilting uphill? But wait, Airman here with some good news to re-level the playing field. Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is now offering up to $1,400 in rebates on qualifying Lennox home comfort systems. But hold on, there's more. Midwest is also stepping up with 60 months 0% financing with approved credit. And the newest Lennox systems produce air that is more pure, run quieter, and are significantly more efficient. So much so that your new lower utility bill will seem like a late Christmas present. $1,400 rebate and 60 months at 0%. Now that's more like it. Go to MidwestHeating.com or dial 943-8787 for details. And as so many of your neighbors have for the past 7 decades, trust your air to the best. Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free. My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency. All low Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Coming up on the last 3 minutes of the first half. So far, so good for the Kansas Jayhawks on the road in Lubbock, taking on 13th ranked Texas Tech. Jayhawks holding on to a slim lead at the moment. Hasn't been the most effective first half scoring-wise for Darren Peterson. He's got 10 points, but he's done it on 3 of 8 shooting. He's made 3 of his 4 free throws, however. He's been aggressive at getting to the stripe. Flory Badunga's had a really good first half. 6 points on 4 shots, 3 of 4 from the floor, 8 rebounds to begin this basketball game. Melvin Council with 7 points. So far, Bryson Tiller and Trey White with 3 apiece. The bench, nothing doing. 0 for 3 combined. Cole Rosario's missed his only shot attempt. Elmarco Jackson's missed his 2 shot attempts in this game. JT Toppin, ineffective in the first half. Give a huge amount of credit to Flory Badunga for that. He's got 2 points on 1 of 5 shooting. Somebody needs to tell Lawan Watts to pass the basketball. 4 for 13 in the first. He's got nearly half of Texas Tech's shots, and he's made 4 of them. Buddy, give up the rock at this point. KU doing a great job defensively in this first half. They just haven't been able to knock anything down from the perimeter. I mean, 2 for 10 from the three-point line in the first half is not going to help your case, but holding Texas Tech to 30% shooting from the floor is definitely a benefit for them. They are winning the rebound margin considerably, 22-14. This would be another massive win for KU. It puts them at 17-5. They move to 7-2 in the Big 12, which would put them trailing only Houston at 7-1 and Arizona, who's undefeated 9-0 in the Big 12. They're obviously undefeated in the league. They're undefeated on the year, 22-0, number 1 team in America. But it puts you in the top 3 of the Big 12, which will help with your seeding once we get into into the Big 12 tournament and into March. You finish with a top 3 seed in the Big 12 in the regular season. You're likely going to be somewhere along that 2 or 3 seed line, which sets you up nicely for a trip to that second weekend in the Sweet 16, possibly an Elite 8. But KU has got some doozies coming up on their schedule. After tonight's game against Texas Tech, they will play Utah at home. Utah is the only team in the Big 12 that is anywhere near as bad as K-State has been so far in conference play. But 2 days later, number 1 ranked Arizona's in town. Then you've got to go on the road and play Iowa State in Ames. Then at home against Houston on February 23rd with matchups against Oklahoma State and Cincinnati sandwiched in between. Then you go on the road and play number 1 ranked Arizona before closing out the year with a road game against Arizona State, who is bumbling in Big 12 play, and then that home game on March 7th to close out the regular season against K-State. So this is a huge win because I think that it sets you up to likely finish in obviously the top half of the Big 12. But with marquee games left, 2 against Arizona, 1 against Houston, and 1 against Iowa State, plenty of room to move yourself higher up these standings. Solidify yourself as a top 4 team in the league. Push yourself into a conversation to be a 1 or a 2 seed in March Madness. For my producer, Jackson Ogden, I'm Logan Weber. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for getting involved in the text line. As always, it'll be Bink with you guys tomorrow night. I'll be back on Wednesday. This is After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Well, it's a last call for football. FanDuel is giving you a daily profit boost every single day leading up to the big game. Today is a 30% profit boost on passing yards, over, under, and alternate passing yards. So you can take the over on Drake May. Maybe you like the over for Sam Darnold. Or maybe you're not feeling so sure, but you want to take a 200-plus passing yards from either quarterback. You can do so and get that 30% boost today. All you have to do is opt in each day and place an eligible bet to use that day's profit boost. So whether you're locking in some early lines, you're riding your favorite props, or taking that last big swing before the final whistle of the NFL season, FanDuel is giving everyone something extra to cheer for during football's final week. So play your game with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60 and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued non-withdrawable profit boot token. Restrictions apply, including all token expiration and max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, y'all. It's the Rocket Roger Clemens here. I spent years on the mound giving everything I had, and now I feel every inning in my knees, back, and shoulders. But I didn't want surgery, and I sure didn't want to be sidelined. That's why I turned to QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics Medical Director Dr. Christie and his team use regenerative treatments that help your body heal itself. No surgery, no meds, and no downtime.
Whether you're teeing off at the club or chasing the grandkids around, QC Kinetics helps you get back to doing what you love.
Call QC Kinetics now and schedule your free consultation. Natural joint pain relief with real results.
Don't let the pain slow you down. I didn't, and neither should you. My friends at QC Kinetics, they'll take care of you.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation. QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at Heartland Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Heartland Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free.